Welcome back to Truthseekerstea. My name is Kate and I'm very thankful to have you here today for our pick a card reading. Today's topic is going to be everything about your connection, the person you have in mind. We're going to be doing a person A, person B format where we will be starting with an energy check-in to see who are the people in this connection, and that's a good opportunity to see which person you resonate with and to figure out whether or not it's your pile. Then we will be going into tarot to look at your thoughts and feelings, honest thoughts and feelings both ways between the two of you all. And then we'll be getting some advice for each person in regards to this connection. For the extended reading, I will go more into it for each pile. So if you really feel like it's resonating with you, you can get more information at your pile. So I'm going to go into the pile selection now. So for pile number 1, we have the Chrysalis Tarot with this orange calcite, this raw orange calcite crystal. For pile number 2, we have the Tarot of the Divine, I believe is the name. Oh, I'm looking for the box. Did I put it around me? I'm pretty sure it's Tarot of the Divine. Yeah, I'll have it listed down below. Oh, it's Cosmic Tarot. Cosmic Tarot, sorry about that. And the clear crystal quartz, that's raw as well. For pile number 3, we have the Radiant Tarot with this malachite heart at the center. So go ahead and take whatever time you need to tune into which pile you're feeling the most drawn to. I oftentimes find that the one that I just instantly feel the most drawn to resonates for me, but I'm sure everyone has their own method for choosing a pile, but I guess I'm just trying to say you don't have to overthink it, especially since there's going to be an energy check-in to help you figure out if you pick the right pile. So I'll give you a little bit of time. There could be multiple piles that you resonate with. There could be a person that Spirit wants you to know about that maybe you weren't coming to this reading for, but could leave with some valuable information about. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of time to pick your pile now. All right, hopefully you guys have already clicked off because you picked your pile, but if not, you can always pause or rewatch the intro to have more time to select your pile. I'll have it linked down below along with the extended readings and any other information regarding the tarot cards and oracle cards that you might need. And without further ado, let's get into your reading. Hello, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. If you chose the Chrysalis Tarot with this orange calcite raw crystal, this is going to be your reading where we're going to be looking all about this connection, the person that you have on your mind. We're going to be starting off with an energy check-in. So I've already pre-pulled some oracle cards. I'm going to put your deck to the side. We'll be going into tarot after we do a little bit of an energy check-in. So I'm going to be doing this in a person A, person B format just to go a little bit deeper and more objectively into each of the energies. So it's going to be up to you guys as the viewer to decide whether or not you are resonating more with person A or person B. There always could be mirroring aspects. So yeah, it's going to take your own discernment here. So for the first person, I don't know why I'm like stumbling over myself, but I guess it's a new format for me. So also down below, let me know if you guys like it where it's more based on the energy check-in with the oracle cards, or if you like just going straight into tarot and then pulling the oracle cards while I'm doing the tarot. I've been curious which one is you guys prefer as the viewer. So anyways, without further ado, let's get in. So for person number A, we have the Black Egg. We have the Underworld. Kairos. I never know how to say this, but Kairos. I only wanted to get one of each of these, but 2 came out for this, so I'm allowing it. Right. We also have 3 and Endurance. For person B, we have the Deer, Vision, Pisces, and Power. Just going to check and see how this is looking in the frame, just to make sure you can see. Move this over a little bit. Cool. Okay, and then I pulled a couple of cards for the connecting energy between you two. So we have the Orphan. I never know how to say this one either. Anima Mundi, I think that's correct. We have the Creator. We have Begin. And also Grace. Okay. And it says, for grace, the frequency of grace supports our smooth adaptation to and anticipation of life's currents, changes as we evolve towards a higher version of ourselves on this earthly plane, bridging the divine with the human essence. All right, so starting off with the black egg person, I'm going to refer to this person as the black egg person, this person as the deer. So the first themes that I'm seeing come through is a feeling of the black egg person being on a journey right now of learning who they really are. And I'm getting that they're going through some challenges. With the underworld being here, there's a feeling, I heard a song come through when I was pulling these cards. It's that song that says, "Get lost to find yourself." And so there's a feeling that this black egg person is potentially going through it right now. Maybe a lot's falling apart in their life. I feel like they may have been going through tower moments. It feels like whatever, I'm seeing also the quote of whatever isn't aligned must go. And so I feel like this black egg person has been thrusted into a process of transformation, and maybe even gone through a dark night of the soul in order to emerge as a more authentic version of themselves. This 3 card also talks about, what's really interesting to have Kairos here and 3 is they talk about how 3 represents like the past, present, and future. Also the mind, body, and soul. And so I feel like this black egg person is going through a pretty difficult process of I'm actually being shown, Spirit's showing me right now, like Neo when he gets I want to say evicted, that was the wrong word, when he takes the pill to leave his matrix, and it's kind of feels like he has to go through the underworld, or it's like it's almost, there's an analogy coming through of the black egg person having initiated a process of integration of mind, body, and soul and becoming more authentic. But it's not been easy. It's like they've had to kind of go through really difficult parts of themselves that maybe they haven't really wanted to address. And I feel like for everyone, they could be at a different place within this. I feel like with Kairos being here, what's very clear is that this is a process that the black egg person is going through. And so I'm not sure where they are. We'll look more into tarot to see specifically how they're feeling and thinking towards the connection, get more information on that. But for right now, I can tell the way you would know who this person is, if it's you or your person, maybe you know about this. Yeah, there's a feeling that one of their life, like lessons and current lessons in life is not taking the easy way, or not making decisions that maybe come from fear. So I feel like a lot of times when we're living through ego, it's like not necessarily, we'll do things that aren't aligned with our authentic self. And it's because there's some sense of fear we're usually hiding from something, or we're trying to cope with something. And so I feel like this black egg person has been ejected from their matrix on some level. And I feel like they've been forced to go through some sort of underworld situation. But with this endurance card here, it's like, oh, I'm hearing, staying alive. So like, that's kind of a vibe here I'm getting. So I think this person, yeah, has really been going through it. And it's almost like if this person hasn't been able to be really engaged with the deer, and we'll go more into the deer before I get too much into the dynamic, there's almost a feeling here that I feel like this black egg would have been in isolation, or would have not been able to act really from their true self, maybe when they first met the deer, but there's a feeling that there's an alchemization, a strong alchemization process going on here. What I'm getting for this deer's energy is a really sweet energy. I feel like I immediately got that with the deer coming out. This talks about someone who's very tapped in with their feminine energy, very loving, gentle, protective, has a certain amount of grace. So it's kind of interesting that grace is here. But there's a feeling, there's a silent power that this deer person has. And it's a very feminine, understated energy. It's almost like this deer person, I would say, is currently more authentic with themselves than the black egg was. Maybe when you guys met each other or vice versa. There's just a feeling that this deer is maybe in a little bit more of like a spring time. I'm kind of getting the vision of the deer being in like a glowy forest or something. So it almost just feels like, yeah, look at these like trees. There's something about this deer where with the vision here, there's someone who understands okay, there's a feeling here like with this black egg, maybe sometimes they don't know why they're going through what they're going through. They don't know why these changes are happening. Like I feel like at one point this black egg person was very tuned in with the matrix, okay? And so there's almost this feeling of them learning how to communicate and be their most true self, but it's like this process they're going through. But with the deer here, there's a feeling of wisdom with these owls and the vision. It's like this, and also the mountain came up, which is like what's in the middle of this vision here for the deer. It's like there's a feeling that this deer I'm hearing is there's an old soul vibe coming through, or a I'm not what am there's a phrase coming through. I'm no stranger to the dark side of the moon. Like that's what I'm hearing. Don't know what that is, but I'm hearing something like that. Like I'm also getting like Pink Floyd vibes. Like, oh, you know the song that's coming through is we're just two lost souls floating in a fish bowl year after year. Like I'm getting that. Have we found the same old fears? And I wish you were here. So maybe there is a separation, but I feel like this is a deep soul connection regardless. But the way that you know who you're going to resonate more with is dear person has been through their fair share of challenges, but it's like they've always been really deep. It's like I feel like this dear person would maybe identify as a highly sensitive person. Um, but there's something where it's like they've always kind of they haven't been as disillusioned by life as this black egg person. Like it's almost like they've maintained a certain spiritual essence to them, or maintained a very dreamy feeling. So it's like I feel like this dear person would have had a hard time throughout their life completely grounding in reality, or completely um like I'm getting with this dear person, like I feel like they wouldn't enjoy being human 100%, or there'd be things about like the mundaneness of life that never really resonated with the deer. And I feel like this deer probably always felt a little bit like an outsider in a way, or someone who maybe not an outsider actually. Like I wouldn't think that people would get a bad vibe, or not a bad vibe, but like a vibe that's they're not. I'm not getting a quirky vibe as much as I'm getting a vibe of like this deer person was not built to like work a 9 to 5 job and be in the patriarchy. Like that's almost what I'm getting. It's like this deer is a representation of how gentleness is power, and how being in touch with the moon and being in touch with those like deep feelings and things like that can actually be a way that someone stays very in touch. So I feel like this deer person is very in touch, very intuitive, very sensitive. But with this power here, I feel like they are coming through in an empowered energy. They're coming through in an energy where with the vision here, they may just, I don't know, this deer person may be maybe just someone who, I'm trying to put this into words. Like, sorry, my nose is kind of stuffy. I feel like this deer person is someone who has a wise spirit about them. Like, it's not necessarily like Dumbledore, but it's almost, in a way it is. It's like, think about how some people are really going to have to panic at knowing what's ahead, or knowing that there's the underworld, or like knowing that they have to, their ego is going to die. This deer person, it's like they almost live constantly in a different state where they haven't gone as deep into the ego as the egg person. So I hope that makes sense. I don't want to harp on that for too long, but there's a common theme between the two of these people here. I feel like this deer person is very loving and holds a lot of love for this black egg person. I feel like this deer maybe is even more tuned into what this relationship represents for them, or it's like this deer person constantly feels the black egg person. And I feel like there's been times where the black egg maybe doesn't understand the purpose of this connection or doesn't see the deer clearly, or maybe was not able to like show themselves. I'm hearing the Frozen song, Show Yourself. I feel like this deer person would be a lot more comfortable being vulnerable with feelings and just being loving. And then there's a feeling of this black egg person as being someone who would avoid being super vulnerable unless they are like, and they kind of require a huge trigger or a big event to kind of crack their egg and get them layers down to themselves. But I don't know, maybe the deer person was a catalyst as well for this black egg person. But yeah, I feel like this black egg right now is a little bit disillusioned just because of the underworld being here. There's a feeling that the underworld card also comes with kind of a reckoning energy, or a feeling of people can try to pretend like the underworld doesn't exist and kind of live in this lightning energy, meaning that they try to kind of, like I'm saying, like I imagine like a false society where everyone smiles, or like there can be an energy to humanity where it's like, don't be sensitive, put on a smiling face, just like always show up like nothing's wrong, like we're not flawed. And I think this black egg person has been in that energy for a long time. And I, with Kairos being here, there's a feeling that it's like time or something, or there's something about this black egg person. There's a reckoning where it's like they're being pushed into a new version of themselves. And I think the deer is kind of aware of this. I feel like if you may resonate with the deer, just because I'm getting a very intuitive vibe from the deer, but if you're the black egg, that's also like would make sense. It just be, I feel like this deer energy is probably the one who'd be more likely to be watching tarot videos. But anyways, I don't want to influence whatever you intuitively feel you've been going through. And yeah, like whatever resonates with you resonates with you. But with the power card being here, there is a feeling of the deer realizing their power, coming into their power, but staying very sensitive. It's like this deer person is someone who's been through things, but still maintains a very compassionate heart. And I feel like this deer person in general is very compassionate towards those in need. There's a really strong motherly instinct coming through, and a wisdom coming through, where I feel like this deer person would also be able to see the power in others and also be able to see the light in other people. I feel like this dear person could have a conversation with someone and be like, I feel like this dear person has a strong potential to enlighten other people, or not necessarily enlighten, but big up, or they're good at helping people's confidence, because I feel like this dear person is able to see the vision and the value in people. And like the deer person wouldn't be the type of person to judge people or be like, oh, because this person did that, they aren't worth anything. Like I'm getting kind of like the prison system. Like I feel like this deer person would be like advocating for the fact that we need, prisons that are actually helping the prisoners and not just like whatever, things like that. I feel like the deer is able to even have empathy for the darkest places, And so I feel like this deer person has like this abundance of empathy and compassion for this black egg. It might even make this black egg uncomfortable in a way, because I feel like they don't even really, there's a feeling that they're in survival mode. They're just trying to get through, but also a really strong soul in this black egg as well. I just think that in this life they incarnated into a more maybe masculine role, or into a role where they were gonna get really deep in the matrix. Anyways, so what I'm seeing for in between energies, I feel like what links these two together is maybe a feeling of being an outsider that was coming through, or a feeling of not really belonging. Um, and I am kind of getting like a classic energy here of these people are actually very different or very similar underneath the layers of conditioning of being a human. Like they would very much vibe, but I feel like there would be a lot of barriers to communication, or barriers to an outward confirmation that they love each other, or that they're on the same vibe. Even though deep down on a soul level, I do feel like they are compatible, these two. But with it says adaptation to and anticipations of life currents and changes as we evolve towards a version of ourselves. So again, I feel like this connection is very much one that was meant to be a catalyst for both the deer and the black egg. I think the black egg may have met the deer in order to learn to be more vulnerable with themselves, and to be willing to be more real with themselves in a way. It's almost like the deer would be a heart chakra awakening for this black egg. And then with the deer here, there's almost a feeling of maybe the deer being able to look at the black egg and learn a lot through them. It's almost like the deer would be able to interact with this black egg and eventually learn their own power. So I feel like maybe in the beginning, this deer would have felt small or in the like headlights and compared to this black egg, or maybe would feel impressed by this black egg in a way. But it's almost like the more that the deer sees their own power and vulnerability and being authentic, the more that they feel like on an equal plane, or if not, like sometimes seeing them as elevated to the black egg, because there's almost a feeling that they both are meant to wake each other up to where their true strength is, and maybe parts of themselves they had been neglecting. And so I feel like this deer maybe always felt like other people knew more than them, or this deer could have been, yeah, not aware of their own wisdom, not aware of their own power through their own sensitivity. And so there's a really strong feeling that this deer person would have been, through caring for this black egg person, it's like they're more aware of the black egg person's flaws, probably than even the black egg person. But it's almost like through seeing this black egg's flaws, they actually are able to see their good parts of themselves, because it's actually like there's quite a good balance here, or quite an opposite energy to the two. And I think where this deer was overlooking themselves and overlooking how difficult it is to be sensitive and how difficult it is to really hold the vision. Like, and what I mean by hold the vision is, um, it's like there's this energy here. This talks about how like those with the vision are people that everyone wants to be around. It's like this energy that's very tuned in with spirit and might just say something to you that is the exact thing you need to hear. It's like they're always, I feel like this deer person is always like getting downloads, or even if they don't know it, is always kind of able to see the big picture in a way that others can. I don't think the deer's known that they're like this, because it's like if they've been like that, they wouldn't know that other people aren't like that. Anyways, this deer person is just awake on a level. Is just very is a high vibration. And because they're this high vibration, number one, they've been on a journey to seeing their own light. And it's almost like interesting, because I feel like in this picture, it's like the light is coming out from the deer and it's shining out from the deer. And it's like in the past, it's almost like the deer always felt like a deer in the headlights, but it's almost like what they're realizing is this shifting from the car being the thing that's shining to them. It's like they're the really bright light. Um, does that make sense? There's an energy here of the deer seeing their own power. And even if it's not like visible light, like it's kind of like a metaphor for where other people may be shining in society. Like they may have achieved a lot, they may have a lot of charisma, they may have these external things that this deer maybe didn't have, so they weren't seeing their own light. But there's a feeling that through this relationship, the deer is more able to realize their own light while still having compassion for the other side. And this black egg, I think that they don't really have the benefit of understanding as much what's going on, because this person has the vision. But I'm seeing that with this Keros, it's like in due time, this person's like not a ticking time bomb, but they're on schedule right now to continue to realize things. Anyways, so with this Grace card, there's just a strong feeling of these two, since they've met each other, having transformed. And this is a very transformational connection. It's one where these two are becoming more confident and authentic in navigating the tumultuous, like the ups and downs of this 3D plane and the challenges that can come. This deer is learning their power. So if this person's felt suppressed or not strong, it's like they're learning to anticipate life currents and changes as we evolve. It's like they're continuing to maintain that essence, or they're starting to see how they don't need to be as intimidated, or they don't, they can stand up for themselves. They can stand in their power is what I'm really getting. And I feel like this black egg is realizing that they don't have to hold on to these ego structures. They don't have to avoid the underworld. They don't have to make everything externally perfect. So it's almost like both of them were learning how to be more confident and strong. Like I feel like what this relationship has brought on, and what a big purpose of it is for each of them to be more authenticity and love based than fear, right? And so I feel like in the past, both of these may have held a good amount of fear, especially when it comes to navigating the external world. I think this black egg ended up creating a lot of matrix like structures in order to hide from like the deeper fears that they have, or the hardships of society. And it's kind of like they've always wanted to maybe hide themselves from that, but in that process they lost touch with their authentic self. And it's almost like this dear person has always been authentic with themselves, but didn't but struggled to even be on any level really confident in the external world. Or maybe they were on some levels in some arenas, but when it came to ideas of like being successful, being safe, being wise, you know, it's like this person didn't really feel that way. And so there's just a feeling that this was meant to help both of these people feel like they belong. It's not like the things that they would say to each other. It's something about the catalyzing energies that brought about these changes within each person. Um, and I feel like more than anything, what this relationship is teaching both of them, and the connecting energy with this begin and the creator, is helping each person feel powerful and authentic in creating their own life and beginning again, you know, and not being afraid to rewrite their story. Like I'm hearing the rest is still unwritten. So this is definitely a deep spiritual connection, especially with the Nima Mundi here. Yeah, there's something about this is deep. This is definitely deep. And it's definitely been helpful for both of them, even if it always hasn't felt like it or looked like it. It has been bringing both parties closer to being a conscious creator and letting go of limiting beliefs that kept them outside of their power and outside of their authenticity. It's almost like there's authenticity and power being learned, where this person maybe had power but didn't have authenticity. This person had authenticity but maybe didn't have power. And so it's almost like a balancing act of those two coming in, and it's like each person was able to trigger the other energy in each. So that's like maybe a really deep level of what's like going on. Hopefully by now you would know whether or not you are resonating with the deer or the black egg more. Now we're going to go into your guys' honest thoughts and feelings, each person's. Let me get a sip of water. See what's going on with that. So I'm going to be using the Chrysalis Tarot for, I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm going to use the Chrysalis Tarot. I'll use it for the black egg, and then I'm going to use this Affirmations Tarot for the deer. So as I'm shuffling, I will be doing an extended reading if you do feel like this is really resonating. For the extended reading, we're going to be looking at where this connection is headed, and what this person wants you to know most. So we're going to look at both of those, and we'll be getting some additional guidance for you about this connection. All right. So I'm trying to think if I want to do this where, I don't know if I want to do one side or the other. Maybe I'm going to do 3 and 3, I think. So what are this black egg's current? So I feel like with tarot dives a little bit deeper into more of like what's going on like a micro level. I feel like this is the macro of this connection. Here's like the micro. So we're going to look at currently at the time. This is timeless, but when you're viewing this, what are the black egg's honest, authentic thoughts and feelings right now? What are the black egg's honest, authentic feelings right now towards this deer? We have the 2 of stones, which is the 2 of pentacles. We have the hero, which is the fool. We have the empress as well. Oh, the star at the back of the deck. Wow. Okay. It's cute. All right, I'm going to pull 3 as well for this deer. Again, living on a prayer, or I don't even know if I said that song. We're halfway there. Anyways, that song's kind of coming through for this side right now. All right, what are the authentic thoughts and feelings of this deer? We have the Chariot, the Hangman. Interesting. Two of Wands. Back of the deck, we have the Eight of Pentacles. Okay. So I may pull some more just to clarify. I'm going to make sure everything is in the frame. Cool. So let's start off with the Black Egg. With the two stones coming through, this is telling me that, and especially with this card as well, it kind of looks like this bear is making a leap, which actually very much reminds me of this Black Egg's energy, because there's a feeling of an incubation time period going on, and the bear goes into hibernation and like goes in the dark. And in this deck, the bear kind of represents waking up from spiritual amnesia or moving towards the light. But that's kind of coming through also with the idea of this person coming through the Two of Pentacles classic meaning for me, which would be that it's like this person is balancing a lot on their plate. And I feel like this person is going through a lot right now. I feel like this person's very busy, number one. But it's like they're trying to, I'm hearing like put out fires. It's like they're just trying to keep their life together right now. Cause like with the underworld endurance, again, it's like staying alive, staying alive. Yeah, there's something about surviving and trying to maintain balance right now that this person's going through. And the way they feel, I feel like with this begin as well, I do feel like the connecting energy. Okay, what I'm getting is that I do feel like there's some sort of history. Actually, okay, so this could be a new relationship, but because there was so much coming through, that could have been the future of what this is going to bring you. But I am getting that there may be a new beginning on the horizon, or it's almost like the more you guys realize you are conscious creators, it's almost like opening up more potential for this connection is what I'm getting at. Because especially with the star here, again, it's like this person is moving towards the light, and this comes after the Tower, and it's that healing and rejuvenation that people are. Sorry, a download's coming in about the Kairos. That comes in, basically it's like when you can see the light again. But with this Kairos, it makes me feel like this Black Egg person too is aware that there's some divine, it also talks about divine timing. And so I feel like this Black Egg person right now is just like knowing they have to work through a certain amount of like chaos or ish or like shadow. And it's almost like and with 3 talks about communication. So there's a feeling that this Black Egg is in process, is trying to like get through some fog, get through some limiting structures in their life, but it's like a feeling that they don't want to give up. I feel like this Black Egg person does not want to give up on this deer whatsoever, especially with the Empress coming out. But I feel like there's a feeling of this Black Egg having quite a bit of hope for this connection. But it's almost like they maybe don't have the bandwidth right now, or it's like they're waiting for the right time to leap. It's like they're waiting for a balance point between what they're dealing with and maybe it's like their hopes and responsibilities. It's like they're trying to balance things out. And I do think this Black Egg may want to take a leap of faith towards the deer, especially with begin here and creator. This creator card talks about being, it's about creating your own life and seeing that you don't have to like follow a structure that's pre-placed. So with the Hero and the Merlin, is also reminding me of the Magician. I'm surprised that it's not the Magician either, but there's something about the beginning stages, or this person seeing. This is Merlin's really reminding me of Kairos here. It's like they're having a vision of what they want, and they're fighting for this, is kind of what I'm getting with the Black Egg with this tarot. It's like this Black Egg is genuinely fighting for the cause. Like I do feel like they've woken up, and it's brought a lot of anxiety and difficulty to their life, but I do really feel like their eyes are on the prize, and it's this Empress energy. So they're seeing this deer in this very like the motherly energy. Like that's very much in line with the deer as well. It feels like they're waiting for the opportunity to take a risk towards this Empress. There's just a strong feeling of in the right timing. They think that there's going to be the right timing. And it's like they're going through a cycle right now is how I feel. And it's like they want to come through more authentically, but they're kind of dealing with something is what I'm getting. So let's move on to this Deer's Tarot. So With the Chariot here, the Hangman, the Two of Wands, there's something I'm feeling coming through with this deer. Is like there's a feeling that this deer knows that in order to have victory and make progress in something is like this person seems to understand the Hangman versus Chariot. And I love that these two came out because I always think of them as kind of opposite, kind of different energies in a way. I feel like, for example, if someone, I feel like the remedy for an imbalanced Chariot energy would be the Hangman. So I feel like when someone's trying to charge forward and like there's just too many blockages, or that person isn't really balanced, they're not really going in the direction they're supposed to be, there's the energy with the Hangman of like an energetic blockage. I feel like sometimes in life when spirit is kind of energetically protecting us or kind of just trying to push us in the right direction, we can sometimes be forced to go into the Hangman's energy because sometimes we can think we want something for ourselves and then the universe is like, nah, like this ain't gonna be easy. Like if you keep pushing forward, it's just gonna get worse. And so the Hangman's energy is to kind of surrender and look at your circumstances and ask yourself if like you really are pushing forward for the right reason. Is it really in alignment with yourself? So a lot of themes are coming through of this deer. I think still caring a lot for this black egg, but there's a feeling that this deer is focused on their future, focused on their work, especially with the Eight of Pentacles in the back. I think that this deer is in a very empowered energy where um they don't have tunnel vision. Like I feel like this black egg, believe it or not, even if they don't express themselves yet, does very much have this deer in mind and this connection in mind. But I think this deer is understanding that maybe with the Chariot here, it's like they would want victory with this black egg, but they also aren't going to disrupt their own progress, or they aren't going to accept anything less than they deserve. There's a feeling of them letting spirit guide them forward, and they're in a state of surrender. They've surrendered this connection, honestly, with the Hangman here. And it's like they would, if everything was aligned and they saw a way forward, I think that this person would be willing to, the deer would be willing to put in the work with this connection with the black egg. But there is a sense of like, if I don't get like the sign from spirit, like if I don't feel like it's aligned for my life, like I'm not going to force it. Yeah, I'm gonna get a couple more now for the black egg in regards to their thoughts and feelings. What are their current thoughts and feelings for this deer? We have the Knight of Scrolls, the Visionary. Yeah, I feel like the this black egg has something they really want to communicate. There's a lot coming through about with this card of 3, this is the 3rd house, which rules communication. And so there's a feeling here of the black egg feeling very determined. I'm definitely seeing them with this very like intense energy. I feel like they really are dedicated to the cause. Like I keep saying that with this endurance, because imagine like the Knight of Swords. I could see the Knight of Swords on this landscape. Like even though there's all these difficulties and it's a long journey, it's like this person is okay with that, and they don't want to even though they have a lot going on their plate, there's a feeling that they don't want to let go of their vision, especially with the Visionary being here. It's like, yes, there's a lot going on, but they're trying to hold the vision. What else for this black egg? We have the 3 of Cups here. And the 6 of Wands. Wheel of Fortune at the back of the deck. Yeah, there's such an energy coming from this black egg. Like they feel like this connection is very fated. They're in tune with the fact that there is some sort of cycle or some sort of there's a rhythm to this. It's like they're realizing that there's a rhythm to this connection with the deer. They may not have always seen that, but they see it. And I feel like with this 3 of Mirrors and the 6 of Spirals coming out, there's kind of a feeling of this person, they really want victory. Like this 6 of Spirals, this person, number one, also really cares how you think about, or I'm saying you in case you are the deer, but you might be the black egg. This black egg really cares about a victory with this deer, cares about how they are seen by this deer. They're honestly a little bit seeing the deer as like a prize, which could kind of be, it's almost like they're seeing this deer as their guiding light. And I'm hoping that this deer, I mean, there is a little bit of a feeling of the black egg maybe putting the deer on a pedestal, especially when we're not in the best places in our life. Like, it's like sometimes our mental state can kind of skew situations. So I am getting that a little bit. But with the Three of Cups here, oh, look at this, the lion and the lamb. That's kind of making me think of like these energies here. It's like, I feel like this black egg is very defensive over the deer as well. And I feel like this black egg, where they really want a new opportunity, or they really want everything to come together. I feel like this black egg person dreams of a time when there can be celebration. Because the Three of Cups for me, like, I'm not getting any third party situation, because sometimes that can mean that for me. But what I'm getting here more is like, when can we celebrate? Like, when can we let loose? It's like this person feels so busy. So I think, and is maybe dealing with heavy energies around them, hasn't been having the most fun recently, I would say. And so what they think they really dream about is like festivities with you, or, oh my God, I keep saying with you, but vice versa. This black egg dreams about festivities with the deer, dreams about a time when things are more lighthearted, where they can kind of take risks. Yeah, this person with the Fool here and the Three of Mirrors, it's like they want to let their mask down. They want to let their hair down. They want to, I think they would really enjoy a scenario with the deer where they could really, like, I don't know if you guys drink alcohol or something, but it's like this person would like a very fun setting or a very casual setting where they could make a good impression on you with the Six of Wands too. Yeah, they kind of have a dream of that. They have a dream of them like kind of taking this risk or being in this open energy, like anything's possible with the creator and begin. Like, that's giving me a lot of Fool energy too. It's like they dream of that. Yeah, they think about that. This is like their biggest wish and goal. And I think it's something they're actually working towards. Um, yeah, let's look more into the deer. I found that I enjoy taking the back of the deck from like the middle cut when I do this, spreading this way. All right, so for the deer, what else? Can we go a little deeper into these energies? What are the deer's honest thoughts and feelings towards this black egg? Honest thoughts and feelings. Why is the Chariot here? Yeah, Queen of Pentacles. Again, it's this energy of like, this deer's really focused on their own work, their own stability. They're not in this, they're it's kind of funny because they're not in this risky energy. It's almost kind of coming through with the black egg. Like, this person kind of just wants to take a chance. It's like, I think there's so much going on that they're just like, they want kind of a escape. So I feel like there is a little bit of an energy here of the black egg maybe looking to the deer for an escape. Hopefully not a saving grace, because they are kind of, yeah, they're kind of looking at this deer like, this could be my savior. This person, you know, they could make me happy with this Empress. Like, if I was with this deer, I would feel successful, and I like that victory would bring so much happiness. And so sometimes this black egg is looking at this deer to kind of complete them or bring them happiness. And that can be definitely because this person is in a more heavy state, is kind of what I'm getting. But with this deer here, there's such a strong energy of like, they're very focused on their own life, this deer, and they're very dedicated. They're dedicated to staying balanced and making progress in their own life. And they've surrendered situations that don't seem stable or aren't going to nourish them. And so there's a feeling here that this Queen of Pentacles, or this deer, and that's a very Queen of Pentacles energy, this like mothering energy, it's very stable, and it's very empowered right now, and it's very with the vision. They're focused on their victories, they're focused on their own will and asserting their power in the world and things like that. And so there's almost this feeling with the Eight of Pentacles too. It's like, they, when it comes to this connection, I think that they have a lot of love and care, but there's a feeling that I just heard like they're not a charity. I saw the Six of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, but let's get some more. They're looking towards the future. They're expansive. This deer's in this very expansive energy, very tuned in with their why and their purpose, and tuned in with being stable and nurtured, and only allowing situations that are really like reflecting their worth to them, sacrificing what isn't, being willing to sacrifice what's in their way. So maybe even sometimes this deer may feel a little bit like they aren't sure about this, even though they have love for this black egg. There's a feeling that they don't want anyone to sabotage them or anything, you know? They don't want to sabotage their own life too. What else for the deer? Yeah, High Priestess. Very in tune with what feels right with the deer. This is a very strong feminine energy, and I'm not surprised to see it just given the fact that like we were talking about the deer being very intuitive with that Pisces energy. Oh, Pisces is the hangman too. So yeah, that's some strong Pisces for sure. The Chariot is Cancer also, and Cancer's at the back of the deck for this deer. So there's a lot of feminine, like nurturing energy coming through, listening to the cycles, so knowing when to surrender. And like the High Priestess also talks about knowing when to pull back and listen and be receptive. It's like this person's really mastered that. And so there's a feeling here with the Hangman that they a lot of their power comes from listening to their inner wisdom in moving forward. Like the Chariot, I always like have been confused why the Chariot is related to Cancer, but in this reading it feels like it makes a lot of sense because there's a defensiveness there's something about the feminine energy that has a silent willpower to it, or has an energy that's like silent but deadly. Sorry. But yeah, with the Chariot, it's like there's a feeling of protection around this Queen of Pentacles. They're protecting themselves. They're protecting their victory. They're protecting their own life. And they're in this expansive energy. It's like they're keeping an open mind. Like this deer definitely keeps an open mind, but they wouldn't betray themselves for anyone in this life right now. I feel like they're very grounded and focused on what's going to work for them. Can we clarify this Two of Wands, please? Temperance. Yeah, look at that. This is a beautiful energy coming through. Three of Pentacles. It's like and then the Empress underneath. Yeah, Queen of Cups. Oh my gosh, Six of Cups, you guys. This deer energy is really beautiful. And it's like the Three of Pentacles. I'm not surprised. It's like they're in this energy of like, I want someone who's on my level, who's gonna have a lot of good synergy. Oh my god, what's that word? Synergy. Yeah, this deer, it's such a confirmation because I'm just getting this energy, this temperance energy, where it's like, you know how I was saying, it's like they are not in this energy of like, let's just push forward and not worry about the consequences. When they're moving forward and planning forward, they've tapped into this very patient and wise energy. Because the vision is here as well, this deer is very tuned into where they want to go, what they're working towards, and they know that there isn't any quick wins or easy victories, and they're tuned into red flags. They're tuned into when something seems too good to be true, or they're doing the work. Like they are dedicated to self-love themselves, what's going to nurture them. And they've kind of let go of this codependent energy. And so because this deer is in this self-love energy, I think number one, it's pulling in this black egg with the Empress. And it could just be all part of the plan, but there's just a feeling here that right now this deer is focused on themselves above anything else. And with Temperance here, it's like, and the Two of Wands, they've learned to be steadfast on their journey. You know, the Temperance card talks about not getting too excited and too off track about something, you know, and then it pulls you off your path, and not getting too low when something doesn't seem to be working out. They're tuned into understanding things happen for a reason, and they're tuned into divine timing as well. This deer, it's like they have really been working on themselves. And look at how many major arcanas we have. So yeah, this person's just in this really powerful energy. But I think that what's significant as well about this hero, I think what this black egg is learning about too in their life is how to be more authentic with what they want. Like maybe in the past they would hold themselves back from a lot of opportunities they wanted to go for. This person maybe would want something within their heart, but maybe they would take shortcuts. Or because with this endurance here, there's almost a feeling that this black egg is realizing that in order to, sometimes love is worth fighting for. I think that's what this black egg is realizing. And I think in the past maybe they didn't feel that way, or they were afraid of what challenges that would bring. But I think this is actually a good progression and a big energy for this black egg, because it's like instead of being so focused on one aspect of their life, they're figuring out how can they balance in more fun. This person may also, yeah, they could just get in a very routine energy where they're not really listening to their inner self. And there's a feeling that they're kind of realizing that they want to allow newness in their life, that they want to take more risks. Yeah, they're kind of having a better vision for where they want to go in life. Whereas in the past, I think they may have sometimes been like tunnel vision towards certain goals or things that brought them safety, and then they would neglect what their heart was telling them. And so, um, I do feel like this black egg is in this process of learning to follow their heart, learning to take more risks, learning to not deny themselves of the things they want. Like I feel like this black egg may have had feelings for this deer at some point, but there's a feeling that they maybe didn't go for it. Or I'm trying to think if this is like a new person, maybe in the past. You know, if this was a new connection, the way I would see this feeling is like this deer sees the black egg, but is kind of just like, I'm doing my own thing. The deer is doing their own thing. If you are going to fit in my life, I'll know it. I'll be able to intuitively feel it. So they're not too worried, you know, they're not out here. The deer isn't trying to force anything to happen here. And then I feel like if this was new, it's like maybe the black egg is needing to learn how to assert themselves, or if they want something, you know, sometimes we have to change, you know, it's kind of an energy here. Like I do feel like this deer is helping this black egg not only value things that have an easy response. Like it's almost like this black egg is being thrown more into the depths of life and the depths of pain so they can experience more pleasure. Because I think that this black egg maybe lived a more monotone life where, yeah, they maybe weren't too tuned into their heart chakra, but then they didn't have any tower moments. It's like this person lived in the tower for a long time is what I'm getting. And they've never really known what it would look like on the other side of a tower falling down, but it's almost like they're in that range right now. Yeah, I'm feeling that. I'm gonna get some water. All right, so that's what I have right now for this connection. What I'm feeling is going on. So I am gonna take it into the extended. I'm gonna get you guys some guidance for both the black egg and the deer first. Let me do that. Let me just get some guidance real quick. Let's see what. Let's get the animal guidance. What advice would be most helpful for the black egg at this time? What does the black egg most need to hear? Ooh, it says time for a beginner's mind. I didn't know if I was open to infinite possibilities. Yeah, that's definitely for them. And co-create with spirit. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so what I'm getting, just to go into the black eggs vibe, is like, again, there was a feeling that this black egg had been so locked into a usual routine or pattern or a way of being that they cut themselves off from potentials. Remember how we're kind of just saying it's like they were locked in, they like didn't know what it'd be like outside of the tower, right? And I think that one of the things that they've struggled with is letting themselves be vulnerable enough to start over. And so I feel like that's why time for a beginner's mind is here. Is like there's a feeling that in order to be open to infinite possibilities and in order to pivot, sometimes we have to go back to ground zero and we have to be open to this fool's energy and relearning, you know? And I think that's something that this black egg has, that's held them back from their authentic self and making the changes they want to make. Is I think they've had tunnel vision. So of course, tunnel vision would imply they're not open to infinite possibilities. And it's like they haven't even considered pivoting, you know? And then with co-create with spirit coming out here, yeah, I think that this black egg has, whereas this deer is very much in this energy of co-creating with spirit. That's what I'm talking about, where the deer like has their certain goals they want, but they're trusting in the universe and trusting in spirit to work with them to build that. I think maybe sometimes either this black egg has always felt like if they want anything done, they have to do it themselves. And so they're learning to take more risks and trust in spirit to guide them and to be able, if you're not really trusting in spirit, it's really difficult to manifest because you'll have a hard time letting go of the previous structures you're holding on to. And sometimes co-creating with spirit requires you to take a leap of faith or surrender with the hangman. We also have time to let go. So yeah, there could be some things that this black egg is, well, there definitely is based on like them being in this transitionary phase. So I feel like there's just this energy of like letting go of like the old paradigm, letting go of old things that feel like this tower energy, this energy that they've been in that hasn't been authentic. And they're learning to trust more in victory through spirit and not having to do all the work themselves in a way. So let's see what comes through for the deer. What advice does the deer most need? What advice do our deers most need? Truth transcends illusion. Wow. So I feel like there's a message here coming through that continue on the path of seeing things as they are, especially with this Pisces energy, Pisces relating to Neptune. There's an energy here of this deer having been going on a journey of not seeing things through rose-tinted glasses, listening to their intuition, being more practical too. Like I feel like this deer is being given a pat on the back and an encouragement to continue being grounded and seeing things for what they are and putting themselves first also. So I feel like if this deer, there's another message that for the deer, like you know a lot more than you think, I think, about this connection. So trust your intuition, trust what your intuition tells you about this. I feel like you have access to understanding this connection deeper, but maybe sometimes I don't know, maybe that sometimes you're tempted to, if you're the deer, sometimes you may be tempted to fall into illusions that can bring you off your path. And there's kind of a message here of like, you know, the truth, like, you know how to tap in that energy, and you're encouraged to continue to see this situation clearly and to stay honest with yourself about this connection, honest with yourself about how you feel, basically. So it says, sweet results await and trust in the magic. So I feel like with this sweet results await, this is almost like this like Eight of Pentacles energy. Like I feel like this deer is, if you are the deer and you're not already experiencing a lot of abundance and returns on what you've been doing, Spirit's really telling you like they're really proud of you. And maybe sometimes you may fall into doubting like what you're doing, or you may feel confused about your path or what you've done so far. And there's such an energy of like you are doing things right. Like just keep trusting with this hangman. Keep staying in that truth energy of like the work that you're putting in is bringing you to where you want to go. And there's also an energy here of staying the path, maintaining the original manifestation. So maybe sometimes if you're the deer, you may fall off path, or you may start doubting if what you're doing for yourself, like the self-work you're putting in, is really bringing you what you want. And there's just such a message that yes, it is. And more is to come. There's more abundance coming your way. Yeah. You're doing the right thing. There's just such a message here of like, don't worry, you're doing the right thing. So let's see what the black egg should surrender, and then we'll see some for the deer as well. What should the black egg surrender when it comes to this connection, or in general? What would serve the black egg to surrender? Yeah, look at that. Surrender to passion, 100%. It says, get out of your head and feel the fire of your belly. Focus on people, activities that ignite your passion. Let it flow. And that's exactly what I was getting at, is like, remember I was kind of saying that they have a hard time just doing things that make them happy. Or it's like, if you like something, like follow it, you know? And if you're not able to follow it, look at what's holding you back. Also, surrender to prayer. Give yourself over completely to prayer. When you pray from your heart, you will be heard to the universe, and answers will and support will arrive. Again, there's a feeling of this black egg needing to realize they don't need to do everything alone, and there is a potential of like creating with spirit. This goes hand in hand with the co-creation with spirit. Like there's a strong message for the black egg to there's no need to pre-plan everything you want. I think that this black egg could get stuck in being overly logical or practical, and it's like they won't take any risks because they can't immediately calculate what the return on their risk will be. And there's a message here of like, if you that's a fear-based mentality, and there's a message of just trusting that like when you're asking for things from spirit, like you're being heard and supported, and you don't always have to be calculating everything or super sure of how things are going to unfold. Yeah. I'm also seeing surrender your fear of intimacy. Saw that. So let's see what the deer would be served by surrendering. Surrender to joy. That's beautiful. It says a key to positive change in your life is to let joy in and savor it. Indulge in random acts of smiling during both hard and easy times. Keep surrendering to more joy. And there's such a message of just keep going, like keep going on the path you are. Like even if some days don't feel as easy, it's like there's just kind of a feeling here of like you're allowed to be happy. You're allowed to be proud of yourself. You're allowed to feel the joy of what you've been creating for yourself. And you've come such a long way. And there's just, I don't know, maybe this deer sometimes has a hard time letting loose due to an old mentality, but there's a feeling of spirit saying you can surrender to what you've created for yourself and you can be proud of yourself and just happy with where you are. And even if you're not there yet, it's like you don't always have to be hard at work. Because I feel like this deer is very dedicated to the work spiritually. And there's almost a feeling of you don't always have to be on guard or in survival mode. It's like there's an energy here of like, don't worry, as long as you're being honest with yourself, you're not going to be disillusioned again. Like there's a feeling of you are clear-minded, you see truly. Maybe in the past that was something you had to work on, but right now you see very clearly, and there's really nothing to be afraid of for this deer. You're wise. The deer is wise. One more. Surrender to what is. Flow with what is instead of fighting it. When you can't change a situation compassionately, accepting it exactly as it is will bring you peace. And then surrender to divine timing. Yeah. So with this deer, maybe sometimes it hurts you that maybe a part of the deer wants to save the black egg or has a hard time just with this. That's like the hangman being here. Yeah, I think that this deer has a very mothering energy and has this energy where maybe sometimes it's hard for the deer to be happy unless everyone they love is happy. There's kind of an energy like that. But spirit saying surrender those worries if you can. Compassionately accepting it. Yeah. Flow with what is instead of fighting it. When you can't change a situation, compassionately accepting it as it will bring you peace. And I feel like this deer is really ready for some more peace and some more happiness. And this isn't always going to be a fight is what I'm really hearing. Like I feel like maybe the deer's also gone through a lot recently, but you're on the right track and you are expanding and everything is working out the way it's supposed to is what I'm being told to tell you. Is that maybe sometimes you feel uneasy or you feel like you're meant to do more or something like that, but there's a feeling that you're already doing really good. And almost what you need is to be more kind with yourself or just like let yourself like treat yourself is what I'm getting, especially. Yeah, I'm just hearing it's not all meant to be all work. It's supposed to be play too. So especially you guys have been working really hard towards your career. There's just a message here of balance, of course, and you're making it, through being balanced with joy and hard work, like time for fun. That's the best way to move forward. Like the Chariot's about being balanced. So yeah, that's what I have for you guys, pile number one. For the extended reading, we're going to be going into messages from each person. So we're going to get we're going to see what the deer would want to say to the black egg and what the black egg would want to say to the deer. So we'll be pulling tarot for that and also some message cards. We'll also be looking at where this connection is headed, what next actions each energy may be taking. And then we'll just be getting some additional guidance for you guys. So if that sounds interesting, I will have it linked down below. I want to thank you so much for being here and spending the time watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you did get something out of it, please hit the like button, leave a comment. I love to see what you guys have to say. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next pick a card reading, and I hope to connect with you again sometime soon. Hello, pile number 2. If you chose not the Chrysalis Tarot, that's pile number 1. If you chose the Cosmic Tarot and the Clear Quartz Crystal, this is going to be your reading where we're looking into your connection from both sides. So the lighting's a little bit rough right now. I'm actually filming this a little bit later in the day than I usually do. So just bear with me with the lighting if there's weird shadows. It's because I'm working with the lighting I have in my room. So anyways, so I pre-pulled some oracle cards for both people in this connection. and a few for the connecting energy. So we're going to start off with the pre-pulled oracle cards, and then we're going to go into tarot regarding both people's honest thoughts and feelings towards each other and the connection, as soon as we kind of do the energy check-in, just to see that this is the right reading for you. So I'm going to move this for right now to the side. We will be getting advice for each person as well, and there will be an extended reading, which I'll go more into later. So let's get started with person number A. We have Dragon, Nightingale, the Gem, and you guys, I literally was trying to pull these and I was like, I just want one for each person, but 3 came out on this side, and I did it again. I got 3 anyways, so whatever, I'm just gonna allow it. So we have the Gem, the Shadow, the Tear. We also have Aries, so that sign could be significant to you or your person. We have Death of the Deceitful, and then I just want to see if it's in view because that's good. And then we also have Endurance, which just also came out for pile number 1. For person number 2, we have Fox. There's a lot less for this side. Just a lot wanting to come out for the other pile. So put this here just to match it. We have 5. Okay, we also have 3 coming through on this side for these. So we have the Cave, the Flame, Storm. We also have You Can't Find Goodness Because You Lost Your Heart. And we have It Gets Better. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then for the connecting energy, we have the Vision and the Thread. Gotta move these. Vision, the Thread. We have multidimensionality, and also we have Spirit. So this looks really cool, really interesting. So starting off with the Dragon Nightingale. So I'm going to refer to this person over here, hopefully as a Dragon Nightingale, but one or the other, and then the Fox person over here. So this is really meant to serve as an energy check-in. Hopefully you'll recognize you and your person, and you can figure out whether or not you resonate more with person A or person B. So for person A, we have the Dragon and the Nightingale. Gosh, let me just fix this so it's straight. Technical difficulties, you guys, for this video. Okay, sorry. All right, cool. So I think that this Dragon Nightingale has been going through a time period where, actually I want to start off with a lot of this person's life. I feel like with Aries being here, I feel like this person may be a fire sign, or they may just act in a fiery way. Like, I feel like this is the kind of person who doesn't care too much for sentimental moments. Like, they're the kind of person that I feel like you wouldn't see them crying in the movie theater. Like, they're the type of person that you have a sentimental relationship with, but you know, a fly just went on the pile. You know that they're kind of more comfortable in an action zone, or maybe expressing their affection not directly. Like, I feel like this is someone who probably is very charismatic, someone who likes to be confident, probably uses their sense of humor pretty well too. Like, I feel like this person has a good sense of humor. They're the type of person who wouldn't want to, they don't, what's the word? It's like they don't really handle sympathy well. It's like that. It's like this person would get uncomfortable if someone was being extremely nurturing towards them is what I'm getting. There's kind of a feeling here that like sentimental moments with them maybe make them a little bit uncomfortable. And so I feel like this person operates a little bit with a mask or a way of defending their more vulnerable parts of themselves. And so I feel like they come through as confident. They come through as someone who, it's like they wouldn't open up about something that they are self-conscious about, or it's like if they did, they'd joke about it, but they wouldn't come to you and be crying and say like, oh, like, you know, this really hurt me. There's sort of, this person kind of feels the need to put on a tough outer armor is what I would say. um yeah, and then with endurance here, there's kind of a feeling that maybe this person has gone through a lot, so maybe a coping mechanism for them is kind of being independent or being someone that they don't really let themselves feel their wounds, or they don't let themselves be the victim in a way, or it's kind of like but it's almost to an extreme where it's like they won't I feel like this person's good at burying down like deeper emotions, but I also think they'd have a sense of humor about it. Like there's something where it's like it's not like they don't know that they do that, but I think at the end of the day, this person is really uncomfortable sometimes being like extremely vulnerable or emotionally honest, like this dragon nightingale. And I think a lot of times the interactions you'll have with them, it'd be hard for them. They wouldn't open up about something really deep. I just keep getting that. And if they did, it'd be unusual or they'd know you really well. But yeah, there's a really strong feeling that they haven't processed maybe a lot of their wounds from their childhood, and it's like they still have this like mechanism or this inner child defense mechanism of being kind of like the tough one, the sarcastic one, the one who like isn't questioning themselves. It's like they grew up quickly, or they just felt like they needed to be something for others. If I dig in deeper, it kind of feels like they don't like to be seen, they don't like to be pitied, this person. So it's like this person may have legitimate wounds though that like would need soft gentle care, right? But there's a feeling that they wouldn't really um be open about that in a way. And so there's kind of a feeling, and I'm kind of getting with the shadow being here, it's like this person, I think they're probably funny because with the shadow here, it's kind of like this person is someone who doesn't like, it's not that they're egoic in the sense that they see themselves as perfect. Like I feel like this person's very good at pointing out their flaws or being sarcastic. Again, it's like this energy of like, I know I'm not perfect. This person doesn't pretend to be perfect at all. But I think despite them not being like phony or anything like that, I do think sometimes, sorry, there's an alarm going by or a siren. It does feel like sometimes maybe this person doesn't admit their more softer qualities, or they don't admit that they still want to experience some sense of like emotional closeness, or it's like this person's lonely and they yearn for that, but there's a sense that they don't really let themselves speak their needs. Like I feel like this person would have a hard time speaking their needs. Yeah, they'd have a hard time being vulnerable enough to speak their needs, you know. And I think sometimes they come off as tougher. They feel like they need to be tough. You know what I mean? Like with this Aries energy, they need to be tough and not be the one who's in that like emotional energy, if that makes sense. But it's, I'm not getting it in like a really aggressive way. It's more in a way that's like, I'd probably be friends with someone like this. You know, it's like it's a feeling of you know they aren't going to want to get too sentimental, but they're also not the type, they're not the kind of person who comes around and like expects people to cater to them. They're not the type of person who like, I'm just trying to think, they're not like, they're not a energy vampire at all. It's like this person feels like they self-sustain and stuff, and they really don't like other phony people too. And so that's why I could see this person making fun of other people's shadows or making fun of people in a way. I'm kind of picking that up. And it's like, yeah, it's like they like to take the world not as seriously. It's like this person doesn't really like to take things seriously, but then that sometimes leads them to maybe not speaking authentically or not really letting themselves express what they want or their needs or how they feel sometimes, because they're in this energy of needing to be fire, needing to be, you know, in that energy that's like not as vulnerable again. So I hope that makes sense. So it's kind of like someone who's not like overly vulnerable, who takes responsibility for themselves in a way, but what they don't maybe express as much as the softer sides of themselves. I'm getting a real king of swords energy, but yeah, like that. So it's like respectable at the same time, you know, it's like this person will give you the honest truth about things as well. So anyways, on this side with the fox over here, let's tune into the fox's energy. I feel like the fox is someone who has given people a lot of loyalty throughout their life. I just want to rearrange it so it's a little bit more aesthetic, I guess. Wow, this lighting really is rough. Okay, so with the fox person, I feel like they are someone that's going through a process of healing their heart, number one. Maybe the dragon nightingale is too, but there's a feeling that they don't really externally go through that. I feel like this fox person is more heart-centered. This is an earth energy as well. And that's an air energy. So we have earth and air coming through. But there is this feeling with this fox that I feel like this person has gotten a lot of their identity from their relationships and people around them. This person's very loving, someone that it's like the fox card talks about how important the people are that we love and connecting with those people and like a sense of community, a sense of friends, family, things like that. And so I think that this person, for a lot of their life, like probably would fight to keep like I feel like this person is someone who would stay loyal to relationships past it benefiting them. It's like this person kind of gives a little bit of a fixer energy, but also an energy that's like, yeah, maybe sometimes this fox person with the flame here would set themselves on fire to keep other people warm, things like that. But at the end of the day, this person's very loving, goes very deep, is very deep and very just one really has deep feelings for people is what I would say. Is really heart centered as well. I think though that this fox maybe recently or at some point in their life, it's like everything fell apart for them. So I feel like this fox would have experienced some sort of intense um shakeup to either their friendships, like maybe a certain like really important relationship to them that like they found a lot of their identity from. I feel like flipped upside down, or they went through a time period where they weren't able to rely on their loving relationships as they had in the past. Like whereas in the past this person would feel really stable through their love they feel for others is what I would say. And it's almost like certain things like were shaken up and fell apart, and it's almost like this person's flame at some point it feels like it went out a little bit. And so I feel like this fox is such a loving person but is someone that's been really tested, and I think their heart has closed down a little bit, but it's warming back up with it. It gets better, but it's like they've experienced a lot of change and they weren't able to hold on to the structures, or like it's almost like this feeling of the fox loving people more than they were returned. It's almost like they would give so much of themselves to other people and they would invite people into their heart in their cave, and it was almost like they had to learn this lesson about pouring that into themselves and finding their identity from themselves. And so I feel like there was some divine intervention in this person's life where they had to experience a falling apart of them feeling their flame, feeling their purpose through others. It's almost like this feeling of, it's like this person had to really go through a dark night of the soul or really lose their heart. Like you can't find goodness because you lost your heart. But what I think is really special about this fox is, I was getting it the whole time, is like I feel like this fox has had their heart, like their, imagine that the flame could represent your heart and your connection with others and your connection with your purpose, and basically like not the will to live, that's kind of intense, but it's like your fire, your inner light. I think this fox has experienced almost an unfair amount of circumstances of the storm here that have been aimed at putting this fox's light out. And maybe for some time it got the better of them, but there's a feeling that they bounce back. Like this fox person has learned to bounce back, and they learned it through, it's almost like because their external relationships didn't serve them or weren't generating that love anymore, it's like they had to go internal with the cave. And so this person has a very deep connection with their heart and knows the concept that it gets better, knows about change with the five. It's like they've experienced some drastic change, and it's going to be different for everyone watching, but it's like the fox is either recovered, they're in the process of recovering, but it's this process of learning to shield your own light, learning to maintain your own light even though you have love for others and things like that. And I think it's, what's interesting is that this fox is a very different energy than, you can't find goodness because you lost your heart. And it's like this fox energy is a remedy for that. It's like that feeling when you feel like you can't really connect with other people or you can't trust people or something. And it's almost like that's the energy that this fox has known. And I feel like they're on this journey to reconnecting with their heart from a more balanced place, and in making sure that their connection with their heart and their own light is not dependent on other people or their relationships. So if there is a storm, they can always retreat to their cave. It's kind of a feeling like that. Okay, and so as for the relationship here, this is really cool. So with that multidimensionality, I feel like this relationship in some way is teaching both of these people that it activates our awareness of our true essence, which is eternal and multidimensional. It's almost like this fox person maybe at some point in their life felt like their purpose was to be a friend, or like maybe they got a lot of their purpose through being a teacher, being a good friend, being a mother, like whatever role. There's a specific role that I feel like this person was getting their identity through, and it's like they needed to learn. This is what they share in common, is that they've been both have learned the lesson. This is like a uniting factor about them. Something they're both learning is what I want to say too, is learning that they're not meant to be so one-dimensional or play just one role. And then I feel like for this dragon and the nightingale, I feel like this dragon person is learning that they deserve to be more and honor more than being someone that always has, like, it's almost like this Aries person feels the pressure to not need anyone. That's what I would say. It's like they feel the pressure to be the person who isn't really that affected by their wounds, the person who can joke about their wounds, but like deep down there's a sense of like maybe they could do something with their wounds. It's almost like this person with the nightingale, they actually have a lot they could share, and a lot I feel like they could be really fulfilled by channeling maybe some of the shadows that they have or what they've been through into a golden like opportunity for their life or something like that. But there's this feeling that because they're so attached to their identity as it's like they wouldn't, I'm trying to put this into words, it's like they wouldn't really be comfortable being super open and vulnerable about what they've been through, and like maybe being open to teaching someone else. It's like because sometimes this person is caught up in just their persona, or being that way, sometimes it cuts them off from realizing maybe how what they've been through could really be helpful for other people. And I think sometimes what this Aries doesn't recognize is that their own wounds actually give them a lot of treasure about them. Like with the gem here, it's like the gem is found in all of this like chaos behind it, in this darkness. And it's like there's a feeling here that the nightingale dragon person would really benefit from learning to speak from their darkness and not feel like they have to kind of come to the light and then kind of just make fun of the darkness or pretend like the darkness doesn't really affect us as much as it does. There's kind of a feeling like that. And so with Death of the Deceitful, it's like this person's going through this process of learning to change the way they relate with their shadow elements. I think in the past I think they maybe still don't really see it as something that could touch people's hearts, or something that's the vulnerability of it's important, And Aries is also the first house, and like how we present ourselves. And that's why I'm putting so much emphasis on how this person comes off, because it's like if this person were able to see the gem within their shadow and be more authentic with that, I think they'd be happier, and they'd be more authentic that way, and they could really change other people's lives. Maybe they'd have some sort of career about it. And so I almost just feel like with the thread being here, there's something about this relationship that's meant to help each person kind of maintain their connection or thread to the purpose of life, or the purpose of why we go through our pain. Why do we, our why, and like reconnecting with, even though we've all been through things, and even though we have things that want us to close down forever, like what keeps us connected to our purpose. And so this is a deep connection. And this is, by the way, for pile one, it definitely is like, this is more spiritual, deep aspect of it. And then we're going to get more nitty gritty as well. But on a higher level, this connection, you guys share in it is, I don't want to go as far as say it's like through each other, but there's a feeling that what you have in common is a fight to keep attached to your thread and to not let your darkness destroy you. And so I think in a lot of ways that this dragon nightingale person has done that by maybe being able to joke about it, maybe making people laugh or something. Maybe being able to be charismatic, because it's like they have this, they're not judgmental, it's like there's this energy of them being able to make people laugh in a way or something like that. But there's a feeling that how do we what do we do with our darkness? How do we let it define us? And how do we move forward from our darkness? And this is something that both people here work on, and they have special missions. Both of these people have special spiritual missions through maybe channeling what their shadows are or what challenges they've gone through. Both of them have a lot of wisdom in that. You know, they have a lot of wisdom in pain. Both people know pain. Both of these people know trauma and things like, or maybe depending on what kind it is, trauma. But there's a feeling here I want to say that I'm just kind of picking up between the fox and the dragon and the nightingale, that they may have a hard time connecting deeper sometimes, because I feel like if this fox is sometimes still in the process of being willing to open up again, like, or be really deep, it's like this fox is afraid to really get super invested in someone again, is kind of what I'm getting with this fox, even though that is their like nature, to be super loving and to be very relationshipy. And then I feel like with this dragon nightingale, it's like both people sense a very strong kinship between each other, but I could see there being a difficulty when it comes to authentically and vulnerably connecting, especially asking for your needs to be met. I could see how issues would come through, because even though both these people are coming through with strength, I'm feeling that the shadow elements of both these people could get in the way of authentic expression and communication and maybe lead to confusion. But let's get into now some tarot to see how each person is thinking and feeling in regards to the other person. So we're going to start off with this dragon nightingale, see what their current thoughts and feelings are towards the fox. I feel like each person would sense a certain amount of safety within the other, even if it's unspoken. It's almost like each of them know. You know what I'm kind of getting is like when Harry Potter and like Luna both can see those animals that only people that have seen death. It don't say that they've seen death, but it's kind of like that. It's like there's kind of a connection through loss here, or shadow. But it's also like a hidden strength as well. All right. So for pile number 2 and the dragon nightingale, what are their current thoughts and feelings towards the fox? What are their current thoughts and feelings? We have the Prince of Pentacles, the Sun. Oh, you know what I'm hearing? Gonna be a good day, and all my friends gonna fly away. Yeah, it's gonna be a good day. Again, that's something that I feel like this person, there's kind of a feeling of maybe escapism a little bit, but like not intentionally. It's kind of like, let me get more, but what's coming through automatically is kind of, because I was already getting this a little bit with the dragon and Aries. It's almost like this person likes to experience new frontiers or something, kind of searching for their inner satisfaction. Like I feel like this person sometimes can look for their happiness through exploration or through new opportunities, and it's like almost like maybe sometimes they don't see that the real gem is to go within and be honest with themselves about who they really are and what they really want. Sometimes they can look at other opportunities as that. But anyways, let's keep looking. What are the current thoughts and feelings? The Hierophant. Why is the Prince of Pentacles here? The Five of Wands. The Seven of Cups. Okay. A lot coming through. The Hierophant. We have the Five of Swords. The Empress. The Empress came out in pile number 1 as well. Okay, I'm definitely picking up something. Can we just finish off the reading, please? Can we clarify this Empress in regards to their thoughts and feelings? Yeah, okay. Ace of Pentacles, Nine of Cups. I'm going to take both those. Nine of Wands here as well. Back of the deck. Okay, so I guess I went all the way into it. I kind of balanced it a little bit more, but for this dragon nightingale, they experience a lot of inner conflict in regards to this connection, I feel like this is exactly kind of what I'm saying, that with the Sun and the Seven of Cups, I'm not surprised to see it, because I think that this Nightingale dragon sometimes looks to connections maybe a little bit unrealistically, or they may like to fantasize a lot about the connection. There's this energy here of like, of the, oh, I'm also getting competition from this. Okay, so I feel like the Nightingale dragon is looking at this fox as an option, as a potential opportunity, is looking at the potential in that. And it's almost like they have a lot of fantasy. They think that the fox could make them really happy. But they also maybe think that the fox has other suitors, or that they would have to fight for them. Um, and so it's almost like they feel a little bit conflicted internally about how to act, what offer to make. I'm getting that it's like the um, Nightingale Dragon wants to make some, yeah, wants to make some kind of offer, wants to make some kind of move um, towards the fox, but they're conflicted about what kind of move to make. They may be concerned about competition. But one thing is for sure, this person's very fantasizes a lot. Like this dragon person has a lot of fantasy about this fox, but also uncertainty. There's a feeling here that a part of them is a little bit afraid to invest, or a little bit afraid to move forward, maybe with this connection, or be super honest in it, because there's a feeling that it looks really good. It's like this dragon is very Dragon Nightingale can be very cautious, or yeah, and that's that Nine of Wands energy. They can be very discerning. And so it's like, yes, they think that the fox looks really good, but there's an energy here that they always kind of look for the catch in things, or they may just look for the dark side. Um, yeah, it's almost like they wait for the conflict. Yeah, this is the kind of person that is expecting there to be a downside, is expecting there to be a conflict, is expecting things to be harder. It's almost like they see it as a trap, or like a, like things are too good to be true. This person tends to think that. And so I think there's also self-esteem issues with the dragon and the Nightingale. They, on a fundamental level, sometimes they don't think they deserve good things, or they don't think they, yeah, they don't see themselves maybe sometimes in the highest light. Okay, so with the Five of Swords, I'm really getting this as self-limiting beliefs around commitment and relationships with the Hierophant. They may feel different, or they may just feel like it's kind of coming through in that energy where this could be like one of their wounds, but the way they kind of handle it is through, I don't know, not being vulnerable. It's almost like this person, I feel like, is the type of person to think that they weren't built for the good things. Like they weren't built for the romance stories. They weren't someone who was going, who, you know what I mean? Who, okay, so yeah, sorry, I'm really, this is coming through really clearly now. So what I'm seeing is they tend to think that people that are in love, or that like romantic movies, things like that, are kind of like not real or something, or they kind of think that they are, people are being foolish. You know, there's a real cynical energy sometimes that comes through from this pile, like this feeling that people get carried away in delusions. People, you know, like that things aren't ever that good, you know, like there's kind of a feeling of like, I'm not going to be the foolish one. Yeah, it's like this. It's like there's a real feeling that they aren't going to be, it's almost like they maybe feel inferior, or they don't feel confident enough sometimes. And then the way that they'll internalize that is like, well, that's stupid anyways, or, you know, being lovey-dovey, being committed. It's like they actually have a lot of self-limiting beliefs and fears around it. And they kind of feel like it's like a win or lose. This person is coming to this relationship in a way that's more like, with the Five of Swords and the Five of Wands, it's almost like they see it, even though there's a sense that they don't have any reason to think it. It's like they think they have to be strategic, or they think things are going to be more complicated. They expect complications. They expect things to go wrong, like this person 100%, due to maybe from their past here too as well. And getting into this Empress, this person sees you extremely high value. They think you're extremely attractive, and someone who would gain attraction from a lot of people. That they think that. They also think that um, I think this person maybe sometimes doesn't feel worthy of the fox. Like I feel like, yeah, the Dragon Nightingale has a hard time feeling worthy of this connection, worthy of this person. I think that they talk themselves down a lot from saying like, you know, I'm not the kind of person that, you know, is a good boyfriend, girlfriend. Like I'm not made for that. But it's kind of like they want that though. So the interesting thing here is that with the Nine of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles, they really want an opportunity with the fox. They really are happy around the fox, but it's like they feel silly in love. They feel embarrassing. It's like this person tends to feel embarrassed about themselves, and that's what I think fuels them needing to be in this Aries, like, non-vulnerable energy. But yeah, there's a feeling of them kind of coming to, it's kind of cute and funny in a way, but it's like with the Prince of Pentacles, they feel like an underdog, and it's like they feel like they're going to have to fight through, what this person thinks. This person thinks that a lot of people have their eyes on you, or a lot of people probably, fantasize about you, and like you would be, this person thinks that you, or not you, sorry, the fox, this dragon nightingale thinks that the fox attracts a lot of attention, that they're the ideal person to be in a relationship with, that they kind of think that a lot of people fantasize about them. And so there's almost this energy of like, okay, like they feel like an underdog, they feel like they don't belong with the fox, but they want to make an offer, they want to fight, they want to have a go at it, is what I would say. And even though they doubt themselves, there's a feeling that they really want to be with the fox. This is what I'm getting. They really want an opportunity with the Ace of Pentacles. It's what they really want. And if this person has any weird behavior, if you're resonating as the fox and your person feels like the nightingale dragon, this person definitely acts weird, or like acts in a way that's reflecting them not really just coming out and saying what they want to say internally. There's a feeling that you, like, I'm just saying that if this person's confusing, it would make sense, because I think this is someone who would have a hard time just explaining what they want. It's like they have a hard time taking themselves seriously. That's the best way I could put it. This side has a really hard time taking themselves seriously. And so when they actually want something, or like, it's like things like that, it's like you have to take yourself seriously and take your desires seriously. It's like this person has a hard time being honest about what they really want, being sentimental, and, kind of just like, and with Death of the Deceitful, it's like maybe for some time this person wanted to act like they aren't interested in the fox or something, or whatever. They may have held themselves back from it. They may have self-sabotaged, or I could see this dragon nightingale being like, this fox has so many other options. They're going to be better off with someone else. I'm sure everyone else wants to be with them. This Five of Swords energy, I'd probably lose anyways. It's going to be this competition. But at the end of the day, this person really does feel happy and does have a lot of interest in the fox. But they kind of might self-sabotage. So if you feel like you're the fox, I could see where this person would be confusing sometimes. And I think what's interesting too, this is just coming through, is that I feel like the fox is someone who's actually very non-judgmental and very understanding of shadows and very compassionate, this fox. And I feel like the dragon nightingale maybe puts the fox on such a pedestal that they don't recognize how much the fox has been through, or how much the fox, like, they're not just like this person that expects perfection from other people. It's almost like this relationship causes the dragon nightingale to have to step up and have to like do things they're not really comfortable with. And it's almost like it's causing them to face the fact that they maybe don't go after what they want, or they maybe kind of hide their real desires, and in the effort of like not really putting themselves at risk. Like I feel like this person is sometimes actually, I'm hearing like coward, but like not in the worst way. It's like this person tries to act like they don't have that, or they try to hide kind of what makes them insecure through all these mechanisms of just like self-sabotage and not trying. It's like this person would rather not try and then be like, see, I didn't fail, than try and fail. It's like there's a real sense of them, it's like that. It's like they have a hard time seeing the beauty in themselves, seeing the beauty in their own hardship and what they've been through. And they also don't understand yet that the fox would probably like them because of the fact that they're this deep person, because of the fact that they're not just every type of person. It's like, I think there's a real sense of admiration or connection between the two, because even if this fox like maybe is very beautiful, or like seems like they have a lot or something, it's like there's a feeling that the fox likes this, even if on paper, or even if physically, they may feel undeserving, or you know what I mean? It's like this fox isn't the type of person who judges people by the cover. So that's what sometimes the dragon needs to realize, is that yeah, this person sometimes even thinks happiness is an illusion, or yeah, they really talk themselves out of new opportunities. And that's something that they're going through. So I think the overall thoughts and feelings is that they really, really have a lot of love and desire for the fox, but they hold themselves back a lot because they think that their desires and what they want are kind of embarrassing or foolish, or they think they'd fail anyways, so they don't really want to try. But yeah, there's this feeling that they think there's competition, and it's like I feel like this person would have a hard time accepting that this person actually cares for them. But let's look now into the fox's current thoughts and feelings. I kind of want to get a different deck. What deck do I want to use? I used one for the pile number 1, but I'm going to use the Mermaid Tarot. All right, let's have a look at the foxes. I don't know if there's random stuff in the view. Let me see if you guys can even see. You can see somewhat. All right. So, how is the fox currently thinking and feeling towards the dragon nightingale? It's almost like this dragon thinks they have to breathe fire instead of like their unique song. You know, it's almost like, think about like the difference between these two. It's like I'm not surprised to see the dragon on that side, because it's like there's this like they always feel like they have to spit fire, and so situations that kind of require authenticity or require romanticism, things like that, you know, I think trigger this person's self-limiting beliefs to come out, and like their wounds and their insecurities. So that's something that I think is happening. Let's look at the fox. How is the fox currently thinking and feeling towards person A? The foxes. We have the 2 of Pentacles, the Moon, all right, we have the 7 of Pentacles, we have the Sun and the Moon, the 8 of Swords. You know, I feel like they're maybe meant. Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to finish this spread. One more, please, Spirit. 7 of Cups, so that's mirrored on both sides. Okay, I'm definitely picking up a vibe for the fox. So the way that the fox is thinking and feeling, okay. So interestingly enough, I think the fox also struggles a little bit with self-limiting beliefs or confusion about this connection. So I feel like there's an overall vibe with the 4 of Swords here. Again, just on what we've been talking about, I think that the fox is still healing their heart from something. And with the 2 of Pentacles, it's like there's a feeling that they're trying to remain balanced within their own life right now. It's like they're kind of tending to their own flame. And what I'm getting sometimes is that, like, I feel like the fox is in a stage where, like, I don't even know if they're 100% aware all the time of, like, the dragon and the nightingale. Like, I almost feel like the dragon and the nightingale maybe spends more time thinking about the fox, or feels more like there's a feeling here that the fox, I'm getting, it's like they feel kind of damaged right now, or they're in this phase where there's a lot of self-doubt with the 8 of Swords. It's almost like they feel maybe they have a lot. Okay, what I'm getting is for the fox, it's like they maybe have a lot of other change going on in their life, and they're just trying to balance their life out, and it's like they have a lot of uncertainty here is what I'm getting. It's like the fox is still clearing through this storm, apparently. So I feel like for you guys, if you're the fox, you guys probably are still trying to sort through your life, trying to find balance. Or if this is your person, it's like they're trying to find balance. They're trying to figure out what's real, figure out what they really want. And it's like they're looking for clarity. The fox is looking for clarity about this person, but also about their own life right now. I feel like it's like they're just trying to get their feet on the ground. I'm really getting this kind of survival energy. And that could be why it says you can't find goodness because you lost your heart. Again, this isn't this person's usual state for the fox, but they've been recovering. The fox is recovering from something. And so I think sometimes here, I'm going to put this like this. I'm going to go like here. Like, I feel like with the 8 of Swords and the Moon being here, I think that the fox is going through a lot of shadow, going through a lot of fears, and they have a hard time seeing things clearly right now. So it's almost like the fox, what I'm hearing is like, it's like they would need some extra help here from the other person. So it's like, I feel like this person's busy kind of self-doubting themselves and feeling insecure, maybe not worthy of the fox. The fox, meanwhile, is just trying to stay on their own 2 feet and figure out some clarity from their life, maybe from their past, trying to figure out what direction they want to go in. The fox is in this energy of like assessing their life and trying to figure out what they want, you know? And so there's almost a feeling that I feel like the fox almost feels like until they reach a certain level of clarity or a certain level of balance and confidence, they almost aren't as focused on love, or they aren't as focused on this person, is kind of what I'm feeling. What was I going to say though? There was something coming through about, what was I getting? Oh, like right now, this is what I'm kind of thinking. I feel like the fox is maybe not 100% emotionally available. That's what I'm kind of getting. And I feel like the fact that the fox is maybe not 100% emotionally available right now, even though they have a very deep heart, this person might be taking that as rejection, or, you know, they may be like using that to confirm. Meanwhile, this person isn't even like meaning it that way. They aren't meaning to be rejecting. They're just almost like, they don't know what they want right now. I'm getting that the fox is trying to figure out their direction in life, trying to figure out like where they can be happy. They're trying to find their thread. They're trying to find their purpose, their vision, the vision here. Um, and I think that sometimes I just keep getting this energy. So it's kind of funny. I don't know. It's kind of this energy of this nightingale, this dragon being really like focused on this fox, while the fox is more focused on their life and getting their life together. But yeah, let me get some clarity. I want some clarity for this. It's almost like they can't even think about the sun yet. It's like they're not really in this place. It's almost like they're in survival mode, because it's like the fox doesn't really seem to be thinking about things like what's the most fun thing for me? What's the best outcome? It's like, how can I make ends meet or like survive in a way? But what's this person? Why is the Eight of Swords here? They may be gaining their sense of stability. I'm really getting. Why is the Eight of Swords here? What's causing this Eight of Swords? What is this Eight of Swords related to? The Tower, yeah. Something fell apart in there. Okay, yeah. So definitely, you guys, the fox has recently, with the storm, they're just trying to heat themselves, right? Like something's really fallen apart in their life. Something I'm getting in the physical, okay? Like they're needing to balance out their life literally. Like I think certain structures have fallen apart, maybe their job, like I don't know, like friendships, just as something like has really fallen apart in this person's life, and it's like they're just trying to get their 2 feet back, to get back on their own 2 feet. What's the moon here? Why is the moon? What is the moon representing for this fox? What's the mean? Five of Swords. This person, okay, this fox, I think has dealt with some like pretty negative energies or some like pretty intense like conflict recently, and they're still healing from this, and so they're having a hard time tapping into their heart space because of the change they're going through. The fox is going through a lot of change right now, so they're not even emotionally available. um yeah, we have the Six of Pentacles. Yeah, it's like they're not open to give and take right now. Yeah, so interesting. I mean, it's almost maybe that you are the nightingale dragon. um Yeah, anyways, it almost seems like this side thinks that there's a lot of competition for this fox, or thinks that the fox is like not interested, but it's actually that the fox is preoccupied with it. They're not emotionally available because of their own stuff they're going through, and they're not even really seeing clearly or super focused on love. Again, they're more focused on finding their own 2 feet. Um, mhm. And it's almost like this dynamic, it's almost like the nightingale's interactions or feelings they're getting from the fox, it's almost contributing to their sense of like unworthiness, or their sense of like they wouldn't be victorious, or like sense of defeat. It's almost like a sense of feeling defeated here, like wishing and wanting more with this other person, meanwhile this other person, and it's almost like they're internalizing the responses they're getting from the fox, and maybe thinking it's about different things to do with them, or like maybe the nightingale dragon is kind of thinking, oh, like it's because I'm too damaged, or it's because, you know, they don't see the good in me, or like things like that. Meanwhile, this person's not even looking. Like with Ada, it's like you know, they're in survival mode, and maybe this person isn't super open about that, but there's a, yeah, maybe that's what the sun's got. Why is the sun here, Spirit? What does the sun represent for the fox? The Chariot and the Lovers. Interesting. What I'm getting is that this fox person, maybe what they show externally is that they're okay. Like maybe this fox person comes off a little bit more grounded than they are. Maybe they're not like right now being super open with the pain that they felt. And so maybe they're just trying to focus on love. But there's, okay, what I'm getting here is I feel like the fox is like maybe someone that's a little bit emotionally unavailable, yet thinks on their mind that they want love, but they actually right now don't know what they want. That's kind of what I'm getting. It's like maybe sometimes this fox is confusing because maybe sometimes they're in this sun energy where like they feel like let's do it, like let's go on a date, or like let's do something like super loving and open, but then it's like then the moon energy comes in with them, and so there's this real like energy of chaos a little bit. Like there's a little bit of a chaotic energy where I feel like with the Seven of Cups, it's like this person doesn't really know what they want right now. And so I could see there's a need to maybe be a little bit careful because um, I think deep down this person really wants love and wants connection. They're a lover at heart, but it's almost like they're not themselves right now. I'm just getting this feeling that they're not themselves. Why is the Seven of Pentacles here? I'm getting an anxious, avoidant attachment where it's almost like maybe sometimes this person's reaching out because they really want connection and they want victory in their relationships with others, but then there's these wounds that have happened of relationships falling apart. And so they're really conflicted through this moon and this sun energy, and it may be giving mixed signals to this other person, or it could just impact the way they come through. Why is the Seven of Pentacles here? What is that telling us? We have the Devil and the Empress. Okay, this is pretty interesting because what I'm feeling. Okay, this is tough. Okay, so like if you guys are this fox energy, like please take this kindly, and I hope this can help you bring more healing. But I just think that this fox person is more confused and just in a state right now where they really need to spend time alone. Instead of kind of looking like the fox right now is genuinely, I don't think actually ready to, their heart is not open and ready to connect, but they may be like longing for a time when they like were able to feel like the attention and love from like people in their life. And so there's almost this feeling that with the Devil and the Empress, it's like this person wants to be the one that people want, or like it's like they're still putting energy into coming off like someone who's emotionally available, or you know, the fox may even like be using like physical stuff, or like kind of taking actions in a way that's like really fiery, you know, like sometimes they may be open to that, but there's kind of a feeling that it's like a coping mechanism, or it's not coming from a really stable place. I hope that makes sense. And yeah, okay, there's just a kind of a chaotic energy here, and a feeling that like this fox is just going through a time period of healing, and things are really up and down for them, and they may use like dating or like being attractive, like kind of seductive even, as a way of like luring people in to help them fill a void, and maybe avoid fears that they're feeling, which is a pretty tense message, you know what I mean? So yeah, you know, this is getting kind of tense here. But why is the Seven of Cups here? The Hierophant, Seven of Cups. Yeah, it's like they don't know what they want anyways, you know? It's like with the Hierophant here, it's almost like this person seeming like they want commitment, or seeming like they really want a relationship, but deep down, they're not necessarily emotionally available or ready for that right now. And it's just like they're going through their own healing process, is what I would say. Um, yeah. And a part of them maybe wants to be rescued by a relationship. because I think they have been in a hard place for a while. I think this person desperately wants their heart back and genuinely does want like victory within love and wants things to feel happy, but unfortunately they're still going through some chaos. They're still going that way. And as much as this person wants to be in an equal give and take relationship, I don't feel that their wounds are allowing them. It's like they're not in that place yet. They still have more healing to do. Yeah, with it gets better, it's like this person is trying to get better, and they do want to. And I'm not saying either of these are like, I'm not saying this person's bad at all. It's more like I think a coping mechanism they have right now is maybe, wanting to be attractive to other people, wanting people to like love them, wanting, which is very normal. Um, it's like they want people to invest in them and things like that, but it's like they maybe tell themselves it's like, oh, like I really want to find the relationship where I get to be committed and things like that, but it's like deep down they don't really know what they want in a relationship right now. They don't really know, they don't realize that they're not really emotionally available. Is kind of, so if you are this person, I definitely understand where this energy is coming from, and I think like more reflection and acceptance, honestly, of what you've been through, accepting more and more, that you may need some downtime and you may need time to reflect on what's happened before you go back out, into like the loving world. Sometimes we just want to, sometimes we say the universe is like, we're ready, but sometimes we're not ready, and there's kind of a feeling here of a little bit of denial about that and a lack of direction towards what they even want here too. And so I feel like this person maybe taking things personally, like the Nightingale dragon, or it's like they internalize a lot, but I don't think the dragon Nightingale is really understanding what chaos this fox is going through, like this fox is going through chaos. And it's almost like they're looking at this like with the Hierophant here, it's like they're assuming that this fox is super ready for that. It's like it's kind of like there's a little bit of illusion and misunderstanding between these two. Like, oh, and with multidimensionality too. Maybe each person only sees one side. Like I feel like with multidimensionality, it's like maybe this fox right now is having a hard time, like, you know, accepting their layers, all their layers themselves, and they may just want to be already back in this loving energy, because I do think they have been in that before. I think they'd like to be there, but it's kind of like denying their multidimensionality to not realize that they're in a chaotic energy. And then with this dragon Nightingale, it's almost like they maybe oversimplify situations, and don't see the multidimensionality of a person or a situation, and they could be just putting this fox on a pedestal while they're just going through it and dealing with their stuff. And yeah, there's almost a need to dig deeper and to see the truth within what's really happening, and to have some authentic conversations with each other. I think that'd be really helpful for this dynamic we have going on, because yeah, there's a feeling here that there's illusion, there's confusion, there's misunderstandings all around, honestly. Yeah, so we'll go deeper into it with the extended reading. We're going to be looking at what each person would want to say to the other person with tarot and message cards, along with what actions each party will likely be taking and where the dynamic is headed in the next few months. And then some additional advice from Spirit. But for now, we are going to get each of you guys some advice. Very interesting. Very interesting. A little bit to be continued energy here, you know? And I feel like each person is kind of interacting with the other person's false self. You know, it's like both people are a little bit in false self mode. And it's kind of like one of those times when, like, you know, you just don't feel super in touch with yourself. It's like hard to say what you really want or what you're really going through sometimes. I'm really picking up that vibe here. Okay. So let's get some advice now. What does the Dragon Nightingale person really need to hear? I feel like both of these people are trying to find their way back to themselves and their way back to their purpose and their authenticity. Both people are in that state. So I can see why this relationship kind of got attracted. Can we get some advice though, please, Spirit? Okay, it says be here now. Tend to the small things. Okay, and I feel like this be here now energy is coming out because, again, there's such a strong feeling that this Dragon Nightingale, like, is kind of impractical about the way that they're thinking about this person in love in general. It's almost this feeling of like, okay, like I feel like this person gets in their head on this side where it's like they're already thinking about marriage and commitment when the first moves haven't been made, or it's like just be present before you overthink things and kind of self-sabotage. Like there's a need to just kind of look at the situation for what it is and take baby steps instead of kind of getting in your head and projecting things about what this person's going to do, what they think, like when it's like instead of, you know, like creating reality from what we already know in the present moment. I feel like this side spends a lot of time being in the too big of a picture, and almost like it's like oversimplifying or overgeneralizing, you know, like where it's like, you know, with 10 to the small things, it's like before we're worried about the future with this person and like commitment, let's think about our small communication with them. Let's think about like asking them out. Let's think about the smaller compatibilities. Like, are we even compatible on a small level? Like, before getting carried away and kind of in your head, or like, you know, getting into this place where this has become a big deal, a big fantasy, you know, it's kind of like there's an ask to be more grounded, to be a little bit more grounded and present with what's really going on, and try to not get too far in your head, because sometimes it's kind of creating a reality that doesn't exist, is what I'm getting. Let's get one more for the Dragon Nightingale. One last one. Yeah, and there may just be like some end game that this person is trying to work towards with endurance, but it's almost like, are you being honest with yourself in the moment? Like, you know, just focus on the now, focus on the smaller things. It also says take a leap of faith. So again, yeah, I really do feel like this person may hold themselves back from being authentic or making moves because they're like more focused on how is this going to work out in the long run, what barriers I'm going to face, what competition is there, you know, am I even marriage material, whatever, like things like that, like, or do I even want that? It's more like just focus on like what's actually happening and take small steps, take small leaps of faith, and instead of talking yourself out of your feelings, and talking yourself out of risk, especially by like kind of thinking about the future, or thinking about like, oh, this wouldn't work anyways or something. What advice we have for the fox? It says bring your ideas to life. Spirit has a plan. Take the lead. Lay a solid foundation. See the big picture. Okay. So I'm getting the feeling, let me just get some water. I'm getting a strong feeling that this fox is feeling a little bit lost in their life right now, a little bit confused why so much fell apart in their life. And what Spirit is saying is everything needed to fall apart so you could create a new foundation. But you're meant to take the lead on this. This is a time period where you're meant to be figuring out what you really want to do with your life, what you really want in love. And you're being asked to see the big picture, because I think right now you may still be very thrown off, which is very normal and fine if you're still going through the healing process. I feel like a lot has fallen apart in this fox's life. If you're the fox, I'm just going to speak to you. And there's a feeling that everything fell apart, so you would be able to start over and actually live a more authentic life and bring more of your true desires into the world, especially on the physical level and like within your career and things like that. And Spirit wants you to know they have a plan. There's a reason why things are chaotic. There's a reason why things have fallen apart. But with lay a solid foundation, something that didn't have a solid foundation, where you weren't able to really genuinely create the life you want, fell apart. And that was very much divine intervention. With take the lead here, Spirit is saying it's going to get to a point where you realize that all of this fell apart to create a fertile ground for you to plant new seeds, and for you to take the lead on your life, and for you to pick what you want. This is about you. And I feel like this is a time period where you're not going to be able to get identity from relationships, or you're not going to be able to get your sense of self-worth from relationships. You're being called to get your sense of self-worth from your ideas and what you have to offer to the world, just from you, not from being in a relationship, you know? So that's what you're being called to think about and look at. Yeah, we have transformation is beautiful at the back of the deck too. Kind of like a message here of wanting to tell you that even if things feel chaotic right now, when you see the big picture, you're going to get it. And I just feel like this is more like personal life advice here. Yeah, again, also with this, I'm kind of getting, it's like, you'll never know unless you try. Like, I think this person talks themselves out of like authentic communication with the fox. And yeah, there's kind of a need here of like, you know, don't be so afraid of a risk. Like, don't think so much about the future or the past. Like, if you're happy now and like you want to do something now, just do it now and kind of be willing to take that risk. So, yeah. All right, let's see what each of you guys should surrender. Yeah, and with the thread here, for some reason, both of you guys are like kind of working on similar lessons because it's like each of you are trying to find connection with what makes you happy and learning how to have the fuel for your life be it's like remembering where your thread is within the divine, like where your purpose is. There's a real feeling of each of you guys needing to find your purpose, um and kind of not like be walking through life. There's a feeling here of both people learning to with bring your ideas to life in the thread. It's like there's in the vision's literally here to follow spirit, to follow the vision, to let yourself have a vision that inspires you, and to actually take the small steps in reality without talking yourselves down or trying to get your sense of self-worth from doing anything else. Like there's a feeling here of, you know, what is your vision? Like what do you want to create in this world? Like it's time to start taking action on that. And the reason why certain things fell apart is because they were not serving you. That's for the fox. And then for the nightingale dragon, there's a need to stop not taking yourself seriously, to stop thinking that you need to take things as a joke, or to not try super hard, or there's a feeling of failing before you start, like being afraid of failing so you don't start on this pile. There's a need to trust in spirit as well. What should the person A, what should they surrender? Surrender to the magic of who you are. And I feel like that's what it's been saying this whole time is like, there's such a, that's what I was getting in the beginning, remember, is like, there's a feeling of the dragon nightingale not really seeing the gem that is themselves and what they've been through. And there's a lack of belief that there's anything of value, that letting out these deeper parts of them or like being more authentic would help anyone. It's almost like they don't want to bother people. But the truth is they would have so much to share with others. It says we all have magic in us, even in the mundane aspects of life. Remember that you are a magical being with uniqueness and worth that came from just being you. Yeah, and then this dragon person may feel like they need to come off a certain way in order to be valuable, but like who they really are at their core is something that's very valuable. And I think this person has a hard time seeing the truth of their magic, you know, seeing that who they are can shine authentically and brightly. And once they do that, it's kind of like it's going to change their life in their relationships and in work and things like that. Like, yeah, this person doubts themselves. It has a hard time taking risks because they don't really think too highly of themselves. It says surrender unhealthy relationships. Let go of relationships that don't serve you, including unavailable or toxic people. You deserve to be treasured by others and be surrounded by positive people. Again, I'm not going to say, because you guys very well could be the fox. What I'm trying to say, I am getting this kind of to be a little bit of a story of, is the fox even available right now? I don't really think so. But we'll get to the messages and we'll get more into where the connection is headed. But just take that message how it resonates. Ask yourself how going for unavailable people or situations that aren't healthy are self-fulfilling situations where then we don't think we're deserving of more. We don't see our value because we're surrounding ourselves by people where it's like failing before you start, right? Okay, what does the fox need to surrender? What would be beneficial for the fox to surrender? And it's almost like too, like it says, surrender the habit of people pleasing, speak your needs and be true to yourself. Focus on your own happiness instead of trying to make everyone else happy. Again, that's totally what I've been getting for this fox is like learning to not have your self-worth come from your relationship with others and how others appreciate and value you. Because then it kind of gets you in this habit of it, and that's what I was getting here with this devil and the empress. It's almost like the fox sometimes just wants to be valuable to others and kind of want, like, maybe at their most toxic can feel like if people want me, then I'm worthy, you know? And there's kind of a need to be more than that and know you are more than that. This, if you are the fox, you are so much more than being attractive and being someone that people want to commit to. It's like you're more than that. And yeah, there's a need to kind of learn that the reason why things are falling apart in life aren't so you can find a new relationship. It's more so you can focus on yourself right now. Okay, we also have surrender obsessive thinking. If you're obsessed about a person or a situation, turn the lemur over to spirit. Doing so will help you bring bring you clarity and even solve the problem. Surrender to non-action. Now is the time to be still and not act. Simply breathe and focus on your own power. Let others come to you. I'm definitely feeling that for them. So with obsessive thinking, this could just be about what happened in the past. Yeah, so take that as it resonates. Let's see what both parties need to surrender. Okay, it says surrender to rest and sleep. To prevent burnout, slow down, honor your needs for quiet time, peaceful sleep, to rejuvenation, your body, mind, and spirit. Surrender to joy. A key to a positive change in your life is to let joy in and savor it. Indulge in random acts of smiling during both the hard and easy times. Keep surrendering to more joy. I feel that for both of these parties. I also feel like being kind to yourself is a pile that, like, I feel like they need this on this side, and then kind of recognizing that in order to feel more joy, you may need sleep and surrender first. And then surrender denial. Accept people and situations exactly as they are without denying the difficulties. Then you can see things clearly and make the best decisions. And yeah, and I definitely do think there is, remember I was kind of saying there's a sense of denial and delusion in this relationship. So I feel like taking the blindfold off and maybe seeing yourself and this person for what's really going on is an ask from spirit. So yeah, but I think both of you guys are maybe coming out of confusing times or one or the other. But that's what I have for this, for the online free reading. If you guys do want to see what each person would say to the other with tarot and message cards, along with what each person will be taking, what actions they'll be taking towards the connection next, where the connection is headed, and then more advice, that'll be linked down below. But I appreciate you having been here for the YouTube reading. If it did resonate, please do hit the like button. Make sure you leave a comment. Let me know what you guys thought. And subscribe so you don't miss the next pick a card reading. And I hope to connect with you again sometime soon. Hello, pile number 3. If you chose the Malachite Crystal Heart with the Radiant Tarot, this is going to be your reading where we're looking at everything about this connection that you have in mind. So we are going to be doing a person A, person B format, also looking at the connecting energies. As you can see, I've pre-pulled some oracle cards just to save some time. We will be going into tarot, where we'll be looking at the honest thoughts and feelings of each person in the connection. There also will be an extended reading, so stay tuned for that if you do really feel like this pile is resonating with you. So we're going to get straight into it. I'm just going to put the tarot to the side so we can do the energy. Oops, sorry. That was loud. Oh, dear. The energy check-in. So the energy check-in is basically going to be looking at the energies of each person, and it's going to be up to you guys to figure out who you feel like you resonate with more and whether or not this is your pile. There will be an energy check-in for every single pile, so if you don't feel like this is yours, you might want to check out another one. Or it may be about a different connection that you had in mind. So let's get started. So with person A, we have the hyena, the creator, the ocean, self-care, and yod. For person B, we have Leo, the 11th house, Cobra, Gnosis, and Grieve. For the connecting energies of this connection, we have the Riddle, Freedom, the 9th house, and Jupiter, which is the 9th house is ruled by Jupiter, so it's interesting that both of these came out together. And then we also have Trust. All right, I'm going to get a sip of water and then we'll dive into each person. So the energy I'm picking up for this hyena is someone who is actually very creative and has a lot of potential as a person. I feel like there's kind of an energy here with this hyena of someone who has taken on a lot of the energetic burdens on Earth. So they could have been born into a family where there was a lot of generational trauma, or this hyena seems to be someone who, it's almost like they volunteered for this lifetime to take on some of humanity's burdens. And so this comes with gifts and burdens, really. So with the ocean being here, there's a feeling that this hyena has potential for a lot of, it's almost like they would be able to think of things, see things, dive into feelings, dive into topics at a really deep level, because of the depth of emotions they're able to feel and the intensity in which I feel like they've had to experience life. This Yod card talks about the ways in which, or it says that it implies that the individual with this placement would be impacted by generational karma, basically. But it also is a opportunity, or a, in the more light attribute, is means that the individual has an ability to create a lot of transformation within themselves and to create new patterns of existence. Sorry, something just shifted my house and I got kind of scared. And with the self-care being here, I feel like this is someone who, you know, it's like if they don't prioritize their self-care and kind of the fact that they have a heavier energetic burden on them, maybe just from their childhood, I could see this person maybe struggling with addiction or struggling with behaviors that aren't beneficial for them. Or yeah, I just feel like there could be self-sabotage here. There could be addictions, escapism. And it's almost like until this hyena learns how to channel their, in order, it's almost like the feeling of someone who, like in the future, I see this hyena being more grateful and gentle almost. But for now, they may sometimes feel like, why does this have to be my life? Or why are things this way, you know? It's almost like they haven't tapped into the creative potential that their life has given them, if that makes sense. And so they may still see like some of their woundings as a handicap or as a cage or something that makes them different and less worthy or something. And so sometimes they may view the world with sarcasm or cynicism, but they're actually really deep as people. And so I think sometimes people may get the wrong impression of them. This person is oftentimes misunderstood. This is someone who's going to need to learn a lot of self-care and self-love in order to be at their best, is what I'm getting. So that's person A. So for person B, we have a feeling over here. This person is coming through the Cobra very wise. This person's personality with Leo in the fire sign of Cobra, I think this person would probably come through like as someone who is, maybe people would underestimate their intelligence, like not 100%, but like there's a feeling that because this person's lighthearted and fun and they have a balance of kind of like enjoying more, maybe not superficial, but I could see this Cobra like caring about their appearance or caring about certain things that maybe you wouldn't expect. But this Cobra feels like the real example of, you know, there's no pigeonholed identity that a healer or a guru or sage could appear as. It's almost like a feeling of this person being the unexpected. I heard genius, but the unexpected wise one. It's like this person is extremely wise, but they don't, maybe people would miss that on first impression of them. But because I think this person has a can be like the life of the party, or they can be, not, if not the life of the party, like a really loyal friend, someone who's able to make people laugh. They could be introverted too, but there's a feeling that maybe this person is underestimated within what a wise person they are, what a wise teacher they are. I feel like this person has been able to tap into like I could see this person being into self-help or being into exploring other religions. This person's open to learning and teaching, and they actually have a lot of interests in humanity that go beyond their ego. It's like the Leo energy here is definitely someone that does like certain things that are maybe more like dramatic, or someone who does, they care about their appearance. They care about, you know, they have they have an ego, they have a healthy ego, but at the same time, maybe you wouldn't expect how deeply connected this person is to humanity and how deeply they do feel and have experienced grief, or have experienced, they are aware of the grief of humanity is what I would say. So there's a really strong feeling that this Cobra has a lot of compassion for humanity and has a feeling of acceptance around like harsh truths, yet they try to still remain positive is what I would say. And so I feel like it's kind of interesting because I feel like this hyena person maybe is the type of, has more of a persona that's like more cynical. It's like this Cobra is very positive, but I feel like at the same time, these people would be able to relate to each other in ways that maybe would be unexpected on first glance at the two of them. But there's a feeling here that both people are extremely interested in, or they're philosophical. Like both of these people are philosophical. So that could be a way that these people connect, or maybe if they haven't connected on that, I think these two will be able to have a really strong conversation. Both of these people feel connected to the universe, or are curious about learning about the secrets of the universe. They're curious about expanding their knowledge, their spiritual growth and understanding. And I feel like neither of these two like to be in an energy of conformity, or an energy of over too much structure. Like I feel like both of these people like to push the box, are very forward thinking. I think that this Cobra is maybe more positive about it, but deep down this hyena is like this too. Because with ninth house and Jupiter, that's a lot about exploration and learning and philosophy and figuring things out. And so I also feel like with this trust, it's like even though the hyena maybe sometimes doesn't admit it, they both have a trust for the universe and a trust of the reason why they're here. Like these people are both really deep souls, and with the riddle here, it's like even though life is so, it's like even though sometimes because things can't make logical sense, or um okay, what I'm trying to say is that sometimes think about how science in a way could be limiting in our thought processes, or it could, even though science is good, like I'm for science, but it's almost like both these people would be interested in things outside of science, or outside of extremely measured ways of exploration, or measured ways of exploring the life's most unanswerable questions. Both these people are explorers and people that are interested in contemplating the riddles like of life. And so there's a depth to both of these people, and I think always throughout their life they've always been interested maybe in enlightenment or something, or almost like it's like freedom from ego, freedom from suffering. It's like almost a feeling of both people motivated to learn more about like self-betterment. Maybe not as much the hyena. I feel like the hyena would be more focused on it on a like the riddle way. Like I feel like the hyena would be drawn into I'm getting kind of a like cat and net, not cat and hat, the Cheshire cat almost. Like, you know how the Cheshire cat's kind of like, I feel like the hyena would really like the Cheshire cat, because the Cheshire cat doesn't make any sense, and it's also like Alice in Wonderland is coming through. It's like both of these people are very like to explore outside of the maybe boring reality or something. So both these people could be starseeds, or could be that kind of energy. So yeah, that's what I'm picking up for these two people. Hopefully you figured out which person you are, or you figured out whether or not this is your pile. If it is, that's good. We're going to go into the tarot to see now more about the specific relationship, and we're going to look at how each person is feeling and thinking about each other. So I'm feeling like I want this tarot to go on this side, and then I'm going to use another deck. And this is the Morgan Greer Tarot deck for the hyena. So we're actually going to start off with this deck and see how the hyena is currently feeling and thinking about the Cobra. Just wanted to get a sip of water. Okay, let's get some good shuffles in here. So for the extended reading, we're going to be going into what each person would want to say to the other person if they're being completely honest, or what they would say if there was no filters and they were telling the absolute truth to the other person, what message would come through. We're also looking at what each person maybe, what actions they may be taking, what energy they're going to be in within the next few months. So what's to come, and then also where the connection is headed, along with some additional guidance. So if you are interested in that, I'll have it linked down below. For now, let's get in. So for the hyena spirit, what are their current thoughts and feelings towards the cobra? The 5 of Wands. I was like not surprised to get like a 5 or something that's a little more tumultuous. Like I just am getting this, like, I feel like the hyena maybe sometimes is a little bit, but it's not their fault. So I'm not even finishing my sentence because I don't want to say that they're difficult, but because of what they have been through, it's a little more challenging. Like I'm getting a feeling of maybe the cobra needing to walk on eggshells a little bit with the hyena, but we'll get more. What are thoughts and feelings? We have Page of Pentacles, 5 of Wands, Page of Pentacles. So we have the Star, the 2 of Wands, the Page of Swords, okay, and then we have the 7 of Wands. Okay, interesting. Ace of Pentacles at the back of the deck. Wow. Okay. So what's on the hyena's mind towards the cobra? I'm wondering if I should pull them all now. Yeah, you know what? I might pull them. I'm going to pull them first. So I'll just do this quickly just so I can get the full picture before we go too far in. Let me just put this here. All right. So can we please look into the cobra now? What are the cobra's thoughts and feelings towards the hyena? What are the cobra's thoughts and feelings currently towards the hyena? 2 of Wands. Okay, that's a mirroring energy. The Hangman. It almost wanted to come out in reverse, so I'll just keep that in mind. The Queen of Cups. The 6 of Cups, Ace of Swords. All right, and the Sun. Ooh, okay, and the 6 of Wands back of the deck. And by the way, I was hearing the song Today Was a Fairy Tale by Taylor Swift. I wasn't sure how this was going to fit in, especially when the hyena came out first, but I'm really taking this hyena in an energy that isn't, I'm seeing the benefit of the doubt for this hyena. But okay, let's have a look first into the hyena's thoughts and feelings towards the cobra. So with the 5 of Wands coming out, this has been a common theme throughout all 3 piles. There's a feeling of competition here. The hyena may feel like there's competition, or they may need to fight for the cobra, an opportunity with them, or for expansion with them. Or they may be feeling like they're conflicted about how to move the connection forward. So yeah, it might likely be that as well. There's a feeling, yeah, and it could be because of competition or a feeling of a lot going on in their environment, or yeah, conflicting thoughts. It can talk about inner conflict as well. But I feel like with the Page of Pentacles, looking at this 5 of Wands, there's a feeling that this hyena is strategizing or trying to figure out what the best offer towards the cobra would be, what the best next move is, trying to figure out how to move forward essentially. And look at this, like they're holding the 8, or not the what's it called? Like a, oh my gosh. Nope, I can't think of that. It's like a magic ball. A glass ball, crystal ball. Looking into the crystal ball, and what I keep seeing too, there's a feeling here that this Page of Pentacles and the Two of Wands, this person's looking back in the past. So maybe there was some sort of conflict in the past with this person. That could be for some of you guys. I just want to throw out all the potential vibes I'm getting. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But there's a feeling here that maybe there were issues in the past in regards to how this connection could progress. But I feel like this hyena has hope with the star being here of maybe healing the past. Maybe something did happen in the past. Um, Either if this is a brand new connection, nothing happened in the past, it could just be that they feel like there maybe are some obstacles in grounding this connection or moving it forward. Those could be anything. So it could be third party situations, other people in the picture, this person having um conflicting goals almost. Like it's like they could be wanting to preserve themselves. With the Seven of Wands, this kind of talks about self-protection sometimes, but I'm kind of even seeing this more as I feel like the hyena wants to lay claim to the cobra, or wants to seize an opportunity with the cobra, wants to ground something with them. And it's almost like they feel like they maybe have to defend the victory here. They have to defend this. They're feeling defensive, and I'm kind of getting defensive over the connection, but they may be seeing like potential obstacles, and that's causing them to feel defensive, or it's causing them with the Page of Swords here. It's like they're very curious about the cobra, and they're looking at the cobra. They're trying to see um, how they can maybe heal the connection. Maybe they even think that the cobra would be guarded towards them for whatever reason. But there's a feeling here that they're looking forward. They're looking at the past, and they're trying to learn from the past, see the way things started in the past. How can they seize the opportunity better this time? Or either they're looking at their past situations that didn't have to do with the cobra, but make it fit for your situation. There's a feeling that they're really curious. They're trying to learn. They're open to new ideas, and they're open to they're trying to strategize in a way, figuring out how they could heal the connection, or they could progress the connection in a good direction with the cobra. Just getting a sip of my tea. It's like, what obstacles may they face? It's something that they're thinking about. It's like, okay, like if I did want to pursue the cobra or ground something in real life with them, what would that look like? Things like that. So I am going to cover this just in case. I don't know. Sometimes I get like demonetized. And it's not that I care as much about the demonetization. It's more like I'm just worried that the algorithm would like ban my channel or something like that. So I'm just going to cover any like, you know, I'm like afraid to say nudity for some reason. I'm like, what if that like raises flags or something? But anyways, let's move over to the cobra. So I feel like this cobra is also planning for the future in regards to this connection. I also feel like this cobra has sees this hyena as a soulmate, and maybe does see a potential reconciliation with the hyena, or they feel that there could be a genuine victory here, especially with the Six of Wands. There's passion here. I feel like this cobra, I feel like there's passion on both sides. There's a lot of fire energy. I feel like these two would be very attracted to each other. There's two fire signs as well. But let me see if there's any. We have Aquarius energy with the star, and then we have Pisces with the hangman, more Leo with the sun. Leo is already coming through, but we have all the fire signs potentially. Yeah, that's what I see for now. So, okay. With the hangman here, though, there's a feeling that this cobra is trying to look at the situation with the hyena, or yeah, maybe what's happened, or they're trying to find clarity about the situation with the Ace of Swords. It's like there's a feeling here that they have been really reflecting on this connection, or reflecting on the hyena. And I think, yeah, they've been learning to see both sides of the situation. They're in this energy of wanting clarity more than anything, because we have the sun and the Ace of Swords. And so I think this cobra really is wanting clarity between the two. But this also, the Ace of Swords can talk about a realization, or Yeah, some sort of realization that came to the Cobra's mind. So I feel like the Cobra has been having realizations about the hyena, especially with the Queen of Cups here. This could have to do with their feelings for the hyena. This Cobra does have a lot of feelings here with the Queen of Cups here. They're very empathetic, very fun. They feel good about this hyena. They like the way that the hyena makes them feel, or they just see a lot of potential for growth and happiness, and like emotional fulfillment is what I'm seeing here. And I think they want to see things progress as well. Yeah, with the Six of Cups, they have really fond feelings. The Knight of Cups underneath, it's like this person's willing to put in the work. Yeah, look at that. The Magician, Ten of Pentacles. I want to see if I want to clarify anything. What is this Ace of Swords about? What is this Ace of Swords about for the Cobra? Temperance, yeah. I've been picking up on this, and so this is kind of similar to pile number one, but there's a feeling here that this Cobra is really tuned into their wisdom right now, and so they're patient. Like there's this patient energy coming through, kind of like a snake. And the snake, it does talk about them watching and waiting, and patience. It's also like, think about how like the almost like the Cobra waits to attack, like not like they're going to attack, but there is a feeling of patience here and being moderate and wanting to have absolute clarity about this. They don't want, there's a feeling here that in order for their feelings to be honored, they feel like they would need absolute clarity from this hyena, and they don't want any room for miscommunication or confusion. And yeah, so there's this feeling here that they are interested in things moving forward, but they really would be interested in a very like honest and um like heart-based connection. I want to see if we can clarify, why is the Sun here? Why is the Sun here? Yeah, we have the World and the Emperor. This person really thinks that there could be a lot of happiness within this connection. They think that there could be exploration. It's almost like they feel like anything would be possible with that Freedom card. Yeah, it's, what does it say? The energy of freedom supports our sense of limitless possibility, potential, boundless expression, and bold exploration. Exploration with Jupiter too. It's almost like a feeling of these two like being able to explore together. But yeah, with the Cobra here, it's like they feel very serious, honestly, or they feel very, very much like confident in like, yeah, the Lovers, we have the Queen of Wands and the Two of Pentacles. It's like they feel like they could really make this work with the hyena. So let's look a little bit deeper now into the hyena, get some clarifiers here, because I'm curious to see what this conflict is about. What's this Five of Wands? The Eight of Wands. Yeah, there's, so what their conflict is about, how do they move it forward? It's maybe about like, what should they say? Like, how should they communicate? How can they move the energy in the connection? It almost feels like the hyena wants to push something forward, wants there to be a forward shift or a speeding up in this connection. It's like they think about how can we, maybe if this connection is sometimes at a standstill, it's like they want to push the connection forward. So it's about forward movement and growth. That's what their internal conflict is about. Can we clarify the Page of Pentacles, please? The Five of Cups. Yeah, maybe there's something in the past here, you guys. Like there is a feeling of like maybe things weren't able to move forward in the past, or either this is about you or someone else. Like maybe they've had experience in the past of like letting situations pass them by, or like maybe they didn't push things forward like soon enough. So there's this fear here, or there's this reflection on something about the past with the Five of Pentacles here, like a past opportunity either with you or with someone that reminds them of you. And it's almost like maybe there's a fear that they're not, that the past will repeat itself, or there's an idea of I want things to be different, you know? Why is the Page of Swords here? And it's like they're curious. It's like they're trying to learn about you is what I'm getting with the Page of Swords. But let's clarify it just for fun. It's like they're strategizing. How can we, given the information I have on my past, like how can I bring more success right now? This is the Nine of Swords. Yeah. So there's a bit of anxiety and overthinking. This person may be, yeah, really overthinking things. And the Nine of Swords also talks about a fear of like the future or worst case scenarios playing out. And so there's this fear of like, what if the worst case scenario plays out? What if I say the wrong thing? So there's a little bit of anxiety coming through. Why is the Seven of Wands here? The Ace of Swords. I feel like with this Ace of Swords, there's this feeling of figuring out the right thing to say to you, or making sure that they're crystal clear on what they want or how they come forward, so they're in a good position to like I'm hearing like secure the bag, secure, which is not the bag, but yeah, look at the Ten of Pentacles at the back of the deck. It's like they have this level of certainty about you and how they feel about you and what they want, or not you, I mean the hyena towards the cobra. And so with the Seven of Wands, it's like, or let me just get one more. Let me get one more for that. Yeah, they are absolutely sure about what they want. Thank you, Spirit. It's like they're absolutely sure about what they want. So they're in this energy of fighting for their victory, fighting for what they want. There's a real clarity about what they want. Why is the Star here? Because they want to bring healing to, maybe something has happened in the past. They want to bring healing to it. Yeah, Three of Swords, the Empress. It's like if they've ever hurt you, if this person's, it's like they want to make sure that they treat you correctly. Or I keep saying you, I don't know if it's you, but the hyena wants to make sure that their own wounds are not causing any more pain for the cobra, and that they're treating the cobra the way they deserve to be treated. They want to bring healing to any pain they've caused. That clear as day. They want to bring, if there's this person caused the cobra pain, yeah, there's a real feeling that they've gained clarity since that, and they really want to do whatever it takes to bring hope, bring renewal, bring healing to whatever's gone wrong in the past, in the Ten of Pentacles. So I feel like this relationship is wanting expansion. I feel like there is a lot of potential here. For sure. Like I'm getting like some pretty good vibes here. So yeah, let's get some advice for both people. And then we can go into the extended. So what advice does this hyena need most right now? This could be a scenario where like there was a false start, or there like things weren't able to get off the ground, but there was still feelings or something, and like miscommunication as well. But what does the hyena most need to hear? It says trust in divine detours. And look at that. It's kind of like another, or I guess it's a coyote. But okay, so I think sometimes maybe the coyote, or not the coyote, the hyena can get in their head about things that have gone wrong in the past. And they may be like afraid that if they kind of try something new, it's like a trap or something. There's a feeling that something has gone wrong for them, either within this connection or another connection, where it's like they have a hard time trusting that sometimes things go wrong for the benefit of them. And so, yeah, there's kind of a feeling here of them kind of needing to renew their faith in trusting the universe and trusting that they can follow their heart and their intuition. And sometimes we are led down the wrong path. And I think this person's maybe been led down the wrong path. And so they have a hard time like trusting that it was for the best, or that, so it's maybe something from their past holding them back. Yeah, sweet results await. There's a message here for the hyena, like you can let go of your fears or let go of past experiences that didn't work, because if you put in the work here, there is a lot of potential for growth and reward. Yeah, it says be generous of spirit. So I think that this hyena has a hard time maybe opening up and trusting that if they put energy out, you know, it really can come back to them. And maybe sometimes they want to play things safe, or they're kind of afraid of, you know, sharing with other people, or like kind of being, maybe they've been taken advantage of in the past is kind of what I'm getting. There's a feeling that past opportunities have really failed for them. And so it's grown them weariness with opportunities that do look good, which I feel like is this one. So let's see now what the Cobra really needs to hear. There could be like past life recognition, or there's just soulmate recognition, especially for the Cobra. Yeah, there's a feeling that this person really does at a heart level connect. So we have believe in yourself, surrender now, and then know your worth. Sing your own song. Okay, so there's a message here for the Cobra to not dim their light for the hyena, or to not put their worth into the hyena, if that makes sense. Or there's kind of a message of maybe you've already, or I keep saying it's you, some of you guys will be the cobra, but if you are the cobra, it's like maybe you have underestimated your worth, or what's the feeling? It's like you've not seen how amazing you are, and like how much you deserve, and maybe that's caused you to settle for situations in the past. And I feel like there's kind of a feeling here where it's like you'll be safe as long as you're aware of your worth and you kind of maintain your sense of self and power here. Yeah, there's just a real feeling of spirit saying, don't forget who you are. Like, don't forget what you deserve. We know that you are very lovey and like you hold a lot of compassion for people, but there's a feeling of other people needing to give to you too. And especially like if this hyena is still learning to kind of give, you know, there's a need to maintain your sense of self and maintain, you know, filling up your own cup and not letting anyone have too much control over you or power over you and how you feel. You know, it's like there's a message here of you're abundant, you're capable, and you don't need to settle for anything. So you get to have a very, you know, open perspective here. I don't know why surrender is here. I might get a tarot for that. Let me just see why surrender. I don't know what you're not surrendering. Surrender now. What is this surrender about, Spirit, for this Cobra? That could be the Hangman energy. The Queen of Cups. Okay, it says surrender to your feelings. So, I don't know. Maybe some of these Cobras are maybe fighting some of their feelings that they have for the hyena because maybe they don't know if they can be safe, especially if the hyena's done something in the past. But there's a feeling here that maybe there's still some fears of being taken advantage of, or some fears of being hurt. But what Spirit's saying is you've learned a lot about self-worth and you know who you are and you can trust how you're feeling. You know, it's like there could be a part of you that maybe is in denial of your feelings sometimes because you don't want to get hurt. But if there are honest feelings here, you know, it's not going to be beneficial for you to suppress them. Or you don't need to suppress them because it's like you've learned some of the lessons you needed to learn in order to be protected in dynamics and ask for your worth. And you know, there's a feeling here of what's important if you're with this hyena is like to make sure you're like vocalizing your needs and like don't like not letting people walk over you or underestimate you, kind of. And I think that that's something that maybe this hyena just needs more clarity on, or like they might just need like a little conversation sometimes. I'm gonna get a sip of my tea. All right, so the last thing we're going to get are these surrender cards. We're going to see what each person would benefit from surrendering and then what the both of you guys can surrender. So what would the hyena benefit from surrendering? What should the hyena surrender? Surrender to your full power. Your life is calling for you to step into your full power rather than playing small. Yeah, this person has a lot of power too. And so I've been kind of picking this up. Like it's almost like with the creator here, once this person realizes they have this freedom, it says supports our sense of limitless possibility, potential, boundless expression. It's like there's a feeling of feeling strong, and there's two lions here, so there's almost this energy of like a message for the hyena to not there. You guys, if you're the hyena, you're very strong. Like your wounds have made you very strong, and you can share that, you know, like you have a lot to offer, and don't doubt yourself, or you don't have to put on a mask, or you don't have to feel small, you know, like you don't have to do things that would like, it's almost like the energy of act, like I'm seeing like a small dog, like the way a small dog acts versus a big dog. It's like you're a big dog, like you can act like a big dog in this situation if you want. Yeah, it says surrender to inner peace, cultivate inner peace on a daily basis in a quiet meditative moments, focus on stillness within and enjoy this inner refuge. Others will feel your good vibes too and your life will flow more easily. I think overall this is like the self-care card. I think there's just a recommendation here of the hyena. You will be in a much better place if you can kind of learn to tap into meditation or tap into taking care of yourself so you aren't feeling like overburdened by other people almost. So let's see what the Cobra should surrender. It says surrender your need to always be right. Give others the gift of letting them be right. Be yielding, not rigid. This will help resolve conflicts and improve your relationships. So with the Cobra, I could see like, because this is coming through as like a very intelligent energy, I think that the Cobra, if you're the Cobra, you actually are oftentimes right about things, but sometimes maybe that could be creating more barriers in your relationships and sometimes opening up. Like I feel like being a little bit more receptive if you can towards the hyena, and being open to like conflict resolution and things like that. Like I just feel like as the Cobra, you are very intelligent with, like, you do know what's up in a lot of situations, but it's more about how do you carry that information, and is there still room to kind of accept what other people are saying? Because with this Ace of Swords, it's almost like you have this absolute certainty sometimes about things. And with the Hangman, it's like, what's with the Hangman? It's like there's almost a recommendation of with surrender, maybe surrender to other people's point of view or seeing things from a new perspective, because even though your perspective has a lot of weight to it, there could be continue to integrate maybe facts that you weren't able to take into account, or small things where it's like, don't jump to conclusions when it comes to this connection is what I'm getting, especially. But yeah, there's a way to know your worth and assert your point without kind of shutting out someone else's perspective or being afraid of it almost. It says surrender to what is, flow with what is instead of fighting it. When you can't change a situation, compassionately accept it as it will bring you peace. So with surrender now, maybe there's certain things in your life you need to surrender. We have surrender now and surrender to what is. So there's just kind of a dual message here of surrendering. If there are things that you can't change, it's like the Hangman's energy. It's like important to kind of, instead of looking for solutions or being like, this is how it could have been better, is kind of just accepting things for what they are. I think each of you will know what that's about, but if there's a situation that's just like takes up a lot of your headspace or something that you're kind of having a hard time understanding or grappling with, it could be because a part of you is having a hard time kind of accepting the truth of the situation or your feelings about something. All right, what should both parties collectively surrender? And then with grief here, maybe that there is a certain level of grief that's like repressed with the Cobra. Maybe there are emotions that need to flow. It says surrender to non-action. Now is the time to simply be still and not act. Simply breathe and focus on your own power. Let others come to you. Let's get one more. It says, oh my gosh, it says surrender to passion, surrender to joy. And then it also says surrender to your desire to control people. Being over controlling can sabotage relationships. To effectively achieve your goals, back off, regroup, and give the situation some breathing room. So maybe both people can get into an energy where, especially with the Two of Wands, it's like maybe both people are trying to have an idea of how this relationship would unfold, or, want the other person to show up in a certain way. But it's almost like a message here of, in sometimes like just letting things unfold naturally and letting the other person show up as they are, can bring a lot more passion and joy. And I think there's a lot more happiness to be had in this connection, but it may require sacrifice, like letting go of needing to control things or fear-based mindsets, feeling the need to be right, or to call the other person out or something like that. Like there's just kind of an energy here of like learning to kind of lean into the potential happiness, as opposed to like getting overthinking about what needs to happen or what you need to do, things like that. It's almost like it'll naturally flow better if that is less focused on. So that's what I have for you. We're going to go into the extended reading where we'll be looking at what each person would say to each other if they're being completely honest, what the next actions of each person might be, where the connection is headed, and then more advice on the connection. I'll have it linked down below. But for the YouTube reading, this is all I have. Thank you so much for sitting here. I know these are kind of long, but I just feel like sometimes it takes a long time to get all the depth out. But anyways, if it resonated, please hit the like button. It really supports my videos, my channels, and helps me keep doing what I'm doing. Leave me a comment so I can see how this resonated with you. And make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next pick a card reading. And I hope to connect with your energy again sometime soon.